I could never let it go for that long. The anticipation is too high. We're in here. Sit in Politic. My name is James. Make sure you subscribe, show some love. We're building a platform here, building a community. Shout out to everybody that's a part of it, everybody that supports the podcast, and anybody that's new. Like I said, subscribe. Stick around for more content, politics talk, some sports talk. We're going to get to it, I promise, at some point for all the people out there that subscribe, because we used to have fun sports debates on this channel, and it went to where we only talk about the WNBA. It feels like, but tonight we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to talk about the Jesus Christ Superstar production with Cynthia Evero. Am I saying that right? Let me know in the comments if I butchered that. But she is the lady who played in Wicked with Ariana Grande, and she is the lead. And who's the lead of Jesus Christ Superstar? You might be asking if you're not one for context clues. I'll tell you who it is. It's Jesus Christ, the superstar, the original superstar. You see, come on, man. You see where I'm at. We're live. And by the way, also, I did see you here, Fizzy Bubalik. Shout out to you, my brother, hopping in here, showing some love. I hope you're still in here so, we can connect. Sorry for going live so late. What ended up happening, I took a crazy nap throughout the day after I got home. So I got home, ended up laying down because actually I was sitting down with my daughter because she was just acting crazy, just loco. So I had to say, hey, let's go ahead and pump the brakes here. Let's just go sit down. So we went and sat down in bed. We were watching our show. And then Dad went, and Dad stayed like that. Dad being me for a long time, it felt like. But it was a good nap. It was much needed. I was running on E there. Had a busy morning. So, yeah. So I ended up going live late because I woke up and it was damn near time for me to go live. Usually we're shooting for that 9 o'clock live on Tuesdays and Thursdays is what it's looking like. That feels like it makes sense because then we give the Wednesday to let it breathe. We got to give you time to even miss the show out there. You know what I mean? Come on. Got to give you time to miss that sound. So then when we come back and we hear that sound, you know what it is. It's Sin Politics time, baby. We're talking about the shit. We're not holding back. What else are we talking about? So Jesus Christ Superstar, is that just blasphemy? And are they all going to burn in hell for that? Should trans people be banned from the military? Question we've sort of touched on a little bit before, but I actually have a video where we have some people who are transgender vets, and they're talking about it from their perspective. And I want to consider that and get the audience's opinion, whoever ends up getting in here with me on the late night stream. That's another thing to know. Listen, the goal is 9 o'clock, but sometimes you got to hit those notifications. You got to put those notifications on, because you could be, doing whatever you're doing in the middle of the night, maybe playing some games. Maybe you're working on a paper you got to get done or something. Working on a schedule for work. And I know when you're doing something like that, a lot of people like to throw on the headphones and they like to just sit there and listen to somebody talking about all the shit of the fucking world that pisses them off. And you can get in the comments too. Take a little break from making the schedule and fucking over that bitch at work, and you can hop in here and be like, yeah, no, I think it's wrong what they're doing too. Or hell no, I support it. Either way, we accept everything here. And then you see at the end I put and WWE because everything else in the title was so goddamn long. Let's loosen up the constraints on the characters and the titles, YouTube. I think it's time. So yeah, I had to keep that real straight and just use that 3-letter word there. But we're gonna talk about a few things with the WWE. I have a few stories to get into. I actually got to make sure that my volume and everything is working now that I'm thinking about it. Because if you didn't know and you haven't heard me say before, I like to tell the audience, I am the man in front of the camera, but I am also the man behind the camera. And I'm also the man on the side of the camera. And I'm also the man thinking about whatever I have to say. It's coming straight from the man right here. So it's authentic and it's real. And I think that's one of the best parts of sort of independent media in that way, as far as whatever flaws there may be. Fizzy Bubble, shout out to you, man. Also, fucking epic name. Yeah, no matter what flaws there may be, there's a huge crisis of just people not speaking from their own actual perspective, not giving you the perspective on honestly from their life experience or whatever, some kind of like doctored version, and a lot of times with some kind of some kind of like goal of manipulation at the end of that. Like it's intentional. And that's one thing I think, as you see all these everything in the world that takes place in modern day, you read about things that have happened in history, you just realize how much of it, if it's not like uber controlled in the way of like a deep state causing everything that happens in our, like, I mean, I know some of the gematria folks, and shout out to any of you guys if you tune in tonight. I think this is like gematria hour right now, so I might actually catch some folks that want to come in here and break it down by the numbers, which I'm fine with. We can talk about the numbers. But I know I have some friends that get into it like that. They're like, the deep state's in charge of fucking how much the Raptors beat the Magic by tonight. They need to see those numbers come across the screen. That's the only thing that's going to do it for them. So for me, I don't know if I fully get to that level. But as far as like, is there something that's trying to maintain control? Is there some kind of like power system that has existed within our country, within just even, older civilizations globally, that have some kind of like skin in the game and some kind of influence to protect? I think, of course. So when we see the kind of deep state, working in that way, I think it's just those kind of like convergence of interest. And I think that absolutely exists. Like I said, just from a class perspective, I think that's pretty easy to get on the same page. That's when you talk about people from normal people, that's the biggest downfall, is that that kind of like organization and that sort of splintering of those groups, where there really in all reality is this kind of like common struggle and this common sort of thing to fight against. But it's hard for people to get on the same page with that, because there's all these other more minor, in my opinion, struggles and entanglements based off of this part of someone's identity or that part of someone's identity that ends up affecting the ability for everybody to get on the same page on things that like genuinely have adverse effect on people globally. And I mean, even if you want to look at it from a nationalist perspective, from people that live in the same country, people who are your neighbors, fucking you. I mean, maybe that's where we see this kind of revolutionary kind of mindset take hold, is when people are just too broadly impacted, and people are just too broadly affected to turn the other way and not just grapple with what it is. And it's a rigged game, ladies and gentlemen. What else are we doing? Oh yeah, also I got a shout out to the Discord. Anybody that wants to get in the Discord, drop in the comments. I can get you a direct link for that, because we'd love anybody that wants to get involved in that conversation. That's a 24-hour information mill. And you have something to add to that, please, by all means, hop in there, get involved, and I would be happy to drop that in the comments. Right now I'm having an issue putting it in the bio. I don't know why my arm's disappearing when I put it out there, but that's all good. So if anybody has any insight on that, that's something I have to figure out, but it will be figured out. Believe that. Also, tonight we got to talk about that $50,000 ICE sign-on bonus. They got Superman to take that. That's what the thumbnail is, and not Superman as in Henry Cavill. Shout out to the fucking god, Henry Cavill, the man. Damn, killed it in The Witcher. Still breaks my heart how they fucking did him. Ran him out of town because he loved the books too much, man. Golly. But yeah, not Henry Cavill, not the fucking guy that it is now, not Brandon Routh. The fucking other guy. Let's see what his name is, if it even matters. Does it matter? I'm just gonna look up Ice Superman. It's so funny because, and ironic, considering this last Superman, there was such a kind of fallout over people crying and clutching their pearls about like, oh my God, it's a pro-immigrant message with the newest Superman. How could Superman do that? How? So then now this guy's like, let me swoop in. Let me swoop in for the people that fucking hate immigrants. Let me be the Superman for them. Dean Cain, doubt that's his name. Fake name. Let's call it out. Fake fucking name. And then let me go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can see the cocksucker I'm talking about here. You can't hide from us, fake Superman. Oh shit, don't ignore that. That video's for later. Ignore that video. That's going to be entertaining. So stick around, hit like, show love. You guys are going to enjoy that video when we get to it, but just ignore anybody that's seen that. Just go ahead and wash your brain of it. So Dean Cain, this gentleman right here who played Superman, says he is joining ICE. Hip hip hooray. Yes, what's up? Okay, I'm talking off camera right now. I apologize for everybody tuning in, but I have a child and it's bedtime and she's supposed to be in bed, and now I see her peeking out the door here. So what's going on? Talk to me. Thank you everybody for your patience. And thank you. That was a Hello Kitty picture. I needed to see that. So she needed to come in. She needed to come in the garage. It looks like I'm on Mars, but in reality, not quite Mars. I need to be where my daughter could still get my attention if need be. And she drew me a Hello Kitty picture. So shout out to her for that. But Dean Cain who plays blah, blah, blah. The actor told Fox News he will sign up as an immigration officer as the Trump administration recruits more personnel to staff its deportation campaign. Look at this fucking soulless fuck with his yellow ass teeth. Fuck you, buddy. Can you guys imagine just fucking the guy who played Superman just fucking getting beat to death by a bunch of fucking immigrants? Not that I want that to happen. I mean, but Superman's kind of asking for it. Dean Cain, the actor who played Superman in a popular 1990s TV series. This is TV Superman. This is TV Superman. That says all you need to fucking know, to be honest. He said on Wednesday that he would sign up to become an immigration customs officer, enforcement officer. Mr. Cain's announcement came as the Trump administration pushes to hire thousands of new personnel to support its nationwide deportation campaign. So they're hiring 59-year-old failed actors. I mean, come on, and no disrespect, because I mean, shit, you played Superman. I respect that a teensy weensy little bit, teensy weensy respect for playing Superman. What I can't respect is, you're a fucking 59-year-old man and you're signing up for, is it the $50,000 sign-on bonus? I saw that, and they played on my capitalistic weaknesses, but still they couldn't get me to shed away my my fucking soul, my integrity. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I mean, you guys let me know if you feel like this is all in all a noble mission to take up. It's just there's an extra level of demon that isn't already an ICE agent, and you have a career as a fucking ICE agent, and then all of a sudden you have some cunt as a president that's all of a sudden, hey, we need you to round up everybody. I don't give a fuck. Da 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 da. Whatever. That's one thing, but to be sitting on the sidelines, writing your fucking memoirs about however many dicks you had to suck to become fucking Superman on TV. Oh God. Come on. And this was when TV fucking sucked. This is when nobody respected TV. This is when they allowed a Hispanic man to play the fucking Joker on TV. Well, alrighty. Okay. I mean, this was after that, but I'm just saying, like, point being is, like, this is not the fucking height of television. Okay, this is not the most respect. Like right now, you have people who are movie actors who come down to do TV shows because, I mean, arguably, TV shows produce better quality storytelling and probably make better money at this point than movies do. They can't get fucking Fantastic Four to sell now. This has been flipped on its head. Mr. Cain fucking missed his calling, bro. You should have been hitting DC up about getting in that DCU. Maybe they might need a Superman for the streaming service again. Who knows? But it's not going to happen. We can't have our Superman rocking the fucking ice vest. Sorry. That's kind of crazy. Wasn't the question when people were like, why is this Superman movie pro-immigration? I think James Gunn was like, or maybe it was his brother Sean Gunn. But I watched one of them. They're like, fucking Superman's an immigrant. God damn it. An illegal immigrant that came from outer space. Superman's an illegal immigrant that came out of space with weapons of mass destruction in his eyes. How'd that turn out? He assimilated just fine. He's the best of us. Not that they all work out like that. I'm not trying to, Mr. Kane 59 posted a video to his Instagram account on Wednesday urging people to join ICE. Superman needs backup. I thought they had you, bro. I thought it was over. I thought at that point they were all getting rounded up. Listing incentives that the administration has said it will offer new officers. Listen to this. Like, this shit was good enough for Superman. Is it not good enough for you, fucking asshole, sitting on your couch, not going and rounding up fucking immigrants? Get off your couch and round up some immigrants at the Home Depot, you bastard. I don't care. I don't care that you're fucking sitting on your couch and you're comfy and fucking, living your American lifestyle with your maybe illegal gardener. I'm not saying mine is, but shit, does he fucking know English, the guy that cuts my grass? He doesn't. Do I ask him anything about anything other than fucking, can you please, brother, edge this shit? Watch out for that hole. I don't want to get sued. He understands that. Yes, senor. I'm like, hell yeah. I say, let him stay. I'll vouch for him. He's the best fucking lawman I've ever had. I'll vouch for him. I'll put my citizenship on the line. Let me adopt him. Superman, leave him. I'll adopt him myself. God damn it. The Superman theme song plays in the background. Oh my God, sue him. What's going on? Who let that happen? Later in the day, Mr. Kane said on the Fox News program, Jesse Waters Prime Time, exactly. So this is why he signed up, y'all. Or do you think it's a situation where did the somebody in the Trump admin, somebody on the fucking social media team might have went and recruited his ass? That's probably in reality what it is. I need to see Mr. Kane here on some raids. He needs to join the gang on some raids. So get his fucking meet up. Tell him to get in this fucking Suburban, and we're going to pick up some illegals. I will be sworn in as an ICE agent ASAP, so he's not even sworn in yet. That's the thing. He's going to wait for everybody to forget about this, which will be tomorrow. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Fuck. He said, noting that he was a sworn deputy sheriff and a reserve police officer. Man, I tell this guy to go fuck himself and lick my balls. On Thursday, Trisha McLaughlin and Assistant Homeland Security confirmed in an email that Mr. Kane would be sworn in over the next month as an honorary ICE officer. Okay. Honorary. This pussy is doing... This is fucking stolen valor. Who knew? Oh my God, who knew? We're going to have conservatives. God bless you, because there's a lot of you that I love. But listen, there's a sick disease when you're fucking stealing the valor of an ICE agent, for God's sake. Holy moly. What puss are you getting from that? I mean, actually, this is a dark fucking turn for this conversation, but there was those reports of actually people faking being ICE agents and then trying to pull some Latinas. I don't like that. Protect the Latinas at all costs, 100%, and respect them. Do not lie to them about your fucking, do not impersonate a fucking officer with your stolen valor, bitch. I hate it. I hate what they're doing. As part of its recruitment drive, the Department of Homeland Security has eliminated the age limit for ICE officers. That's why this 59-year-old fucking, your grandpa could join ICE now. Hell yeah. Last month, the department announced incentives for new recruits, including a signing bonus of up to $50,000. I see. That's the thing that I hate. What not that I'm not in support of joining this regardless. I say, listen, don't fucking sign up to be the hand of your fucking tyrannous government. You know, just it's at the very least what we could do is say we're not going to actually be the hand in which that's going to, you know, facilitate your fucking bullshit. Not that we'll ever be to a point where we're going to have, you know, Donald Trump and his fucking goons strapping up themselves to go out here and do any goddamn thing. That's the thing. They're eager to jump into wars, get into fucking hostile military conflicts, knowing goddamn well none of their relatives they would ever allow put their life on the line for that shit. They're like, are you fucking stupid? You're going to be a fucking real estate developer. Hell no, you're not going to the military. Yeah. Tell them you got diabetes. The department announced incentives for new officers. So the 50,000. Oh, yeah. But what I really hate, and this is the thing, as a person that has been in the workforce many years, applied for thousands of jobs, this up to shit, that is a fucking trap. When they say earn up to, signing bonus up to, anything up to is a fucking absolute trap. If you're going to buy a car, this is another thing. You buy a car and they're telling you that you can get up to this amount of money off. That's a trap. They're trying to get you in the building and then fuck you. So they want to get you with a little ice vest on, and then to the point to where it's too late, and they're like, yeah, $1,500 sign-on bonus. What the fuck do you mean? Contingent on this, this, and this. Are you crazy? $50,000. To qualify for that level of signing bonus, you must have to be fucking Tom Brady or some shit. Options, definitely not Dean Cain. I don't know what the fuck. Like I said, Dean Cain's honorary shit is such a red flag to where he might have got 50,000, but just because he's not a real ICE officer, it's just a, you know, promotion run. They hired him to promote. Options for student loan repayment forgiveness. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, crippling student debt. Completely fucking hemorrhaging any money that you bring in from, you know, years upon years. And this is something I'm, you know, myself locked in with. So I'm not, you know, there's no judgment here. But yeah, they had lock you in with that student loan debt. And they're like, hey, look, you can't find a fucking job because we're disappearing all of them. Like it's like we're fucking Hillary ourselves, you know, embodied. Like we have a fucking hit list of jobs that we're fucking knocking down. I got this video later with fucking Hunter Biden talking about a McDonald's that went from like 55 people to 5 people. Not that that's an example of like somebody, but real shit. I mean, when people are getting out of college, sometimes they are fucking applying for just all the positions that you can imagine under the sun, because whether it be like the market that they're in, there's just not as many opportunities. I mean, you have to go where the opportunities are more times than not. So either way, so you're in that position and you have some kind of like, you know, dead end job after getting out of college, having a hard time repaying these loans because of a bullshit fucking economy that you stepped into. And they're like, you want those loans repaid? Put this vest on, take this fucking machine gun. And retirement benefits. Retirement. That's fucking hilarious, right? What? This is like the same administration where you hear people saying, people fucking retired. Why are people talking about retiring? People slow down after they retire. You got to keep going. Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security secretary, told Fox News this week that she planned to hire 10,000 additional ICE personnel. Now, just imagine how expensive it is to get these people out of the country and how expensive this is to hire all these people, to maintain all these people. And all the times that we were talking about like cutting government waste. And I mean, these are areas that we're adding to the overhead, and the department had already received 80,000 applications. Mr. Cain was one of them. Mr. Cain, in his Fox News interview, that ICE would now have 80,001 recruits. The brave 80,001. Mr. Cain, nice. Good for him. Fucking wow. When asked if he would be hopping out of ICE vans and apprehending guys, Mr. Cain said that he would do anything that Todd Lyons, the director of ICE, asked him to do, but added that he doubted that he would be in that position. Well, there you go. I guess literally there you go. So he said, yeah, that's not going to happen, but they have my sworn allegiance and I would do anything. If they asked me to hand over my wife, I would. And I'd watch them fucking run a savage fucking gangbang on her. Fucking Dean Cain, have a little bit of fucking self-respect, bro. Like, listen to what you're saying. This is one of the most cringe. Like, this feels like some kind of like dystopian, authoritarian, weird propaganda press run. He's going on all these shows, and teams like ICE is great. They'll treat you good. You'll be able to retire. They'll pay you a respectable wage. Don't you want to serve your country? We need you. Yeah, we do. Mr. Cain, who has more than 200 acting credits. Add this as one. This is a 201. But is probably best known for his role on Lewis and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Damn, he was in the woke Superman that put Lois before. Did have Superman in the title, but Lois before Clark. Just let that sink in, how much of a fucking cuck this is. Just so they could do a, like, Lewis and Clark kind of pun there, I guess, or is that even what they're going for? I mean, that's how I take it, but still, come on, is it worth it to totally cuck out Superman, your main character? Just saying. So he's best known for that, supposedly. I've never seen an episode. Anybody out there that's seen an episode, let me know. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe fucking Superman saying fuck immigrants is kind of actually based and cool, and maybe if I watch the show, I might come around. Is an outspoken supporter of the president. I love President Trump. I've been friends with him forever. God, man. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a bad friend, probably. That's the thing. As the Trump administration has pursued the president's objective of deporting millions of people, immigration arrests increased nationwide in the first half of 2025 and more than doubled in 38 states. According to New York Times reporting, most of the arrests have occurred in states with large immigrant populations, including Florida and Texas. I mean, Wiggy, if you're in here tonight, brother, I would love to obviously hear about you because you know about you experienced the Great Wave, as you put it. I can't say, living in Florida, I can't say that we really felt much of a surge. So with that being said, though, it's kind of commonplace, and I know it is in Texas as well, as far as like in our community, even previous to, the uptick in people claiming asylum and immigrating illegally, our communities are always really dense with people who are just like, first generation immigrants, no matter how they may have immigrated here. So it's just common to, associate with people that, aren't from here and people that have immigrated here at one point or another. So you just don't even really, blink at it. If you run into somebody and they happen to like not know English, it's not like this thing where like, oh my God, is this person like not here legally? For me anyways, it just doesn't even cross my fucking mind. And it is like it is such a normal thing to come across. Like I said, our communities they have a really dense immigrant population in that way, which to the point here. But my point with bringing that up is that you didn't really feel, at least in Florida, much of a shift when that, supposed great wave happened. But I know that if Wiggy's in the audience, a viewer, shout out to Wiggy. I know he had a different experience. So I would like to hear kind of like how that change happened while this, the demographics are still, so diverse. So to achieve the administration's deportation goals, ICE has been using more aggressive tactics in recent months, including detaining people at immigration courts. So yeah, I have read about this a bit, even like, situations where cases were dismissed and things of that nature. So the thing that is even outside of this, because anybody that watches the show, as much as I'm shitting on this, I'm pro cracking down on immigration from my perspective. And I do think that there's adverse effects on workers and workers' rights. I do think like treating it as like this this giant manhunt is excessive in my opinion, and just like the amount of money that it costs to, you know, conduct these huge programs. It's, I think that, the amount of money that we've put into all of this in the recent months is more than our actual defense budget or something of that nature. I mean, I'll have to pull that up after I'm done with this, this article here just to remind me. But I mean, that is just really just like a stark difference when you consider like our attitude before, when you consider it now. And like I said, I'm sympathetic to, tighten up on that, because I don't think that the answer is like, to kind of let people in uncritically and, not try to get, the best, not try to weed out people who are criminals in some way outside of just, hopping the fence, which is one thing. But I think a way that we could avoid all this money that we're pouring into, hiring 10,000 ICE agents, up to $50,000 signing on bonus, is just, I mean, we can let the kind of like natural kind of chain of events play out. When you have people in communities that do break laws, you find out that they're illegal in that way, or you pull somebody over, you find out that they're illegal in a way that is like also still respecting individuals' liberties and their privacy as much as we can, even though that's obviously something that and that's why I'm saying this is so scary, because we're consistently forfeiting, they're just, they continuously kind of like Trojan horse these issues, whether it be like immigration, for example, and then it ends up convincing Americans to have this like, crazy rabid desire to give up certain kind of things that we would think of as like completely like unthinkable to, treat so sort of, meaningless. Like due process is a great example where it's like, what in the fuck? That's something that is, as far as like habeas corpus and these things, it's like, these are like basic, like the most basic level of like rights that we would expect somebody to be able to make their case in court. I don't know. So then also, I mean, even another thing that I've thought about through this process is, why not just immediately off rip? And I don't know, I'm going to look up to see if we've done this, but it's like, how many illegal immigrants are we like housing in prison or for example? Like, I'd like to know, like, why would those kind of like cases not be at the top of the line to get adjudicated and get those people moved out, or, whatever you're going to end up doing. So it's just like, I don't know, like, this just seems like a show, political theater. This is something to give, people that are concerned about this issue, rightfully so, some kind of, sense that the government is addressing it. Whether or not it's the most efficient way to address it or not, I think is up for debate. And I would lean on the side of no, obviously. Yo, chill. Shout out to you, my guy. Immigrants have to beat the border patrol in rock, paper, scissors. Best 2 out of 3. I mean, that would make it more entertaining, I would say. Give them some way to redeem themselves. But shout out to you, Yo Chill. I appreciate you hopping in here with us late. This is a later stream than usually I would go. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm in here rocking. But shout out to you, my brother, wherever you're at. I appreciate you getting in here and dropping a comment. I've just outed myself completely right now. This is Waters. No, actually, this is Dean Kane. I've just outed myself completely right now, he told Mr. Waters. And as much as my parents want me to wear a mask because they fear for it. Okay, so this is him talking about being an ICE agent. ICE agents often wear masks when they carry out immigration raids. Mr. Kane, however, said he would not wear a mask. By the way, think about how pussy this is right here. This is right after like the paragraph before this is him, maybe the paragraph before that paragraph is him saying that he probably wouldn't be doing that. So for him to sit here and say, I'm not going to wear a mask, which by the way, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. Maybe like address that. The people that are actually out performing, these ICE raids, they shouldn't be wearing masks either. Like, would we expect that our normal police officers would wear masks? I mean, that's just, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be acceptable in most cases. Aside from COVID, which, they get a little Oh, it's Spoo. Shout out to you, man. Okay. I never saw the Yo Chill thing. Just different name, same account. Shout out to you, my brother. Yeah, it's late, you know. So usually I've been doing these and I've had some good luck going live later. So I've made that kind of more my my strategy with this. So usually like 9 to 10 o'clock. I give myself leeway because my ass ends up being late more times than not. But today I ended up taking a fucking crazy ass nap when I got home. I had some shit to do. I'm actually currently in school. Anybody that doesn't know, I'm currently in school. So I actually have to get off here around 2 o'clock. Another thing I've been getting on this bitch Spoo, and I look up and I'm like, damn, I've been on this motherfucker 5 hours. I see how it happens now. Once the chat starts to get a little crazy, I've had some podcasts recently where the chat is really interactive and engaged. So in those kind of fucking live streams, you literally will be in this bitch 6 hours, and I'm like, damn, I spent a shift in this chair. My ass hurts. But yeah, so which is a blessing though, absolute blessing. I'm very happy for that. But yeah, at 2 o'clock I gotta hop off here because I gotta go pick fucking classes and shit. And lock in. I gotta lock in with the good shit and continue on that path. We got to continue on that path. So hopefully I never have to be a fucking ICE agent, or maybe this is the path to become an ICE agent. You end up getting all this fucking debt for school. And next thing you know, you're like, fuck it. I'll throw them in a fucking truck. I'll throw them in a truck and bring them back to Mexico. Oh, hello, Mr. Chinese man. You're going to Mexico. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, buddy. Or you're going to, El Salvador, nice little. Oh man, I gotta actually pull that up. I forgot. There's some shit. This is a side story, and I don't want to get too derailed on this because it is so fucking crazy. But I think it's Prime Minister of Venezuela. Let me check. Is it President or Prime Minister? Let's check it. Trump administration doubles reward arrest. Yeah, I might get sidetracked with this because this shit is so crazy. So the Trump administration, was indicted in 2020 on federal charges of narco terrorism and conspiracy to import cocaine. Hell yes, brother. I mean, come on. Is that even really a terrorist when you think about it? Send more fucking terrorists my way. Good luck on the classes, G. That's huge. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's one of those things where I was talking to the advisor for this semester, and I was just like, you know, I have a North Star on where I want to end up ultimately, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to soak in all the different kind of things that I've never had the opportunity to be exposed to. And that's still, like I said, happening today. Every time I get in a new like career field, I find that where I'm like, what the fuck? You guys don't even run your own HR department? HR departments are outsourced? Like, that's something I found at a lot of places I've worked where they actually hire some company that only does HR and does it for a bunch of companies. And I could get into a fucking rant on that, by the way, because that shit pisses me. Because think about the idea of that. Think about the idea of HR, which is supposed to be like this kind of buffer between the owners of the company or whatever to the employees. And they're supposed to be like some kind of like, you know, like almost like a mediator in a way. But in reality, they're not. You know, that's how they're presented. But in reality, they're not. And it's really exposed, like all things. It really gets exposed when you really kind of just like follow the money. When you follow the money and you're like, oh, okay, so HR is a client. Especially when you hire an outside HR. At least if you could say like, hey, this is an employee of our company. Maybe there's some kind of, I don't know, compartmentalizing of their responsibilities. And sometimes that can be, you kind of justify that as still looking out for the best interest of the business if they're, you know, holding people accountable or whatever the fuck, you know where I'm going with this. But yeah, when you make HR an outside client that the company hires, then if the client is not working in the best interest of the company, or no, other way around, if this HR company is not working in the best interest of their client who pays them, the company, which once again is not the role of HR in reality. I mean, but again, I have to say it again, but it is. Like I said, that's the sad thing. It's not the idea of HR. It's not the idea that you're sold of HR. But in reality, it is the role of HR. They're protecting the business from lawsuits and That's really what it is. So be careful when you're talking to your HR reps out there. I want to go ahead and bust anybody's bubble. If you're out there working and you're a young boy out there, or young gal, just know they're there to fuck you a little bit. So you might think because it's a friendly lady. Although another thing I'll say while we're talking about people taking jobs and all this kind of thing, let's just say it. Look, like the last 3 companies I work for, the head of HR, this lady couldn't even speak fucking English. And these are 3 different ladies. When I say this lady, I rolled the dice 3 different times and it came up no speaking the English in the fucking HR department 3 times. Incredible to me. Incredible to me. Considering how important it is that everything is being communicated crystal clear in those conversations, those legal conversations, essentially. Instead, you got to be like this with the HR. Yeah. Could you say that? Could you say that again, lady? Just saying. And then fucking, I could get into it. Trust me, because I had some wars with HR. Your boy had some wars with HR back in the day. To achieve the administration's deportation goals, ICE has been using more aggressive tactics in recent months, including detaining people at immigration. Oh, I already read that. By the way, Spoo, another thing getting on here this late, I'm really hoping at some point I got to find where to promote the podcast at. Because I'm like, shit, if I go this late and then I drop this right here so people can, join if they want. I want to get some vampires on here, bro. Like, I'm talking about some people who legitimately think they're vampires. I've seen them out there. I've seen the people out there on like True Life. You know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't have to be vampires. That's just the first thing that comes to mind. But if I can get some vampires tuning into the pod and they can go ahead and they call in and be like, I'm standing outside right now. The moon is beautiful. If somebody could howl on fucking mic, that'd be great. Twitter, you're probably right. Twitter's just a son of a bitch. They put me in my fucking censorship hole as well, just because you can actually see how many people see your post. And they try to prevent people that are promoting traffic to places that aren't on Twitter. So I don't have the paid Twitter account, so I can't stream through Twitter without paying for the account or whatever the fuck the deal is to get the check. Recently, I heard it's not even paid anymore. So I don't know if that's true. I'm sure you still have that option. Elon will take your money. He's got all of it already. He'll take that fucking $8. He does not give a shit. But I've heard recently that people get the star that, haven't paid for it. And that makes sense. He's trying to encourage people to stay on the platform, but it is a cesspool. So you're probably right. If I do want to run into a few vampires on the late night, Twitter's probably the place I do need to go. And then who knows what else? Like I said, if I can get somebody to hop on stream in the middle of some kind of like domestic incident or something, I think that's probably the way to go. Really fire the stream up for the late night people. I do have several videos here to react to tonight, so I'll go ahead and get into those without any further ado. I like to chop it up for the first 30 minutes or so as people start to roll in here, but we've been consistently with not many views tonight, so it's probably we're just not getting into the algorithm the right way. We didn't smack the algorithm the correct way. And also it's on the late night, so I will say, if you do end up coming across the stream, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe, let the algorithm know this is where it's at, this is the good shit. More people need to see it, more people need to get involved. So we're having those kind of those conversations. I want all the points of view represented for sure. By the way, Yo Chill said, hell yeah, outsourcing to Patel out in Paisley is a power move. It is a power move. Yeah, fuck yeah. And they'll do whatever the fuck you want. And it's that kind of like division of not division of responsibility, but it is that there's another word for it I can't recall right now, but as far as like, there's no connection there. There's no human connection. So it's like you have somebody that's, they don't work for the same company. They're not a part of the culture, so they don't really give a fuck about, where the culture might be falling short if somebody's having an issue. Like for me, I would have issues with HR all the fucking time surrounding around schedules, because there was a few places where I was a general manager, stuff like that. So they would have like specific things that you had to do with your schedule. Like you had to be there on a Friday or some shit. You had to close like 3 days a week. I'm like, bitch, what in the fuck are you even talking about? If the store is good to go, if it's still running, and also why are we even hiring assistant managers if they can't close the fucking store? So I had to fight with them on that many times with the schedule. In a few different places. It's really honestly kind of crazy how much they want to have. Like, it's just a control tactic. It's like, it's not necessary, but as long as they feel like they have the absolute most control over you, there's like a certain, that does something to the relationship. And just let you know, like fucking your whole situation, whatever it is, we pay you this number. So everything that you have going on in your life and that you want to have some kind of like work-life balance, fuck that. Because we pay you $75,000 a year or something like that, which is lovely. Don't get me wrong, which is lovely, and thankful for that. As far as like when I've been able to make good money and things like that in the past, but there's a heavy price that comes with those kind of things, and a kind of unreconcilable price, in my opinion, when you consider just consider family life. And I think that's one of the big things that is different about this generation of people. To be honest, specifically Americans. I don't think that, our generations before us will, younger than us will see. But it's like, that's just not a sacrifice that I think makes sense for a lot of people at this point. If the reward is not showing to be significant, you know what I mean? Because nobody wants to fucking, make some kind of like great sacrifice without at the end being like rewarded for that. So at this point in the society that we've kind of grown up in, it doesn't really seem to reward necessarily like hard work. Although, like I said, I don't want to completely shit on that, because I've done for my position in class in life. There's a lot to be proud of, but it's a real thing. That I think that people end up, plenty of people. I was lucky to be able to meet certain people, have the right connections, impress onto the right people, whatever my skill set is. And, there's other people that I also worked with that busted their ass, and that just was never the case. Or like nobody was ever to invest in them in the way to, help them with what might be like a small character flaw. If corrected, then, who knows what their potential could have been. But, there's just not that investment in your employee and the worker and in any of that from a country standpoint. And honestly, from a employer standpoint, I don't feel that level of investment. Although there's some benefit programs in some places that I've worked where there's been like certain incentives, like tuition reimbursement and stuff like that. So, there's cool things out there. So I don't want to blackpill anybody to think like, hey, there's nothing out there. Don't do your due diligence and look what could benefit you and what kind of benefits you can get from society. But I will blackpill people in this way, where it's like, well, it's not even blackpill. It's like, you should just expect more, I think, from the country that you invest your life into. And more times than not, like all the taxes that you're paying, more times than not, people are paying that to one country throughout their entire life until they die. All of the hard work that they put in, it will come to benefit their family, but it also comes to benefit their country. And those are like the two things that we, agree from the very jump to pay into and to contribute to and to be a part of. So it's like sometimes that to feel like it's not an equal two-way street, there's a lot of parallels that I could make with that, with, like employers and employment. So, yeah, I don't know. So Yo Chill said a bit odd, but you could take calls on a cheap burner phone, and you should really look to join other debate panels and sort of siphon views. Sounds bad, but it's the game. Yeah, I gotta just educate myself, bro. It's just like I just don't have any like desire to it. Believe it or not, I hop on here. And can like go and not shut up for fucking 6 hours straight. But then, in my personal life, a lot of times I'll be antisocial as fuck. I got to get past that. It's just conditioning through teenage years and 20s. It's like I talked about on here before. I really almost like trained my mind to be like anti social media, where it's like I didn't want to really fall into that as something that I was devoting much time to. So I was working against that. But then as I got older, there ends up, just like my dumbass would be like, oh, I think I might want to do things that specifically, being, being good with social media and being gifted with social media, or just understanding it, would be hugely beneficial. So for me, I'm kind of like, I'm a little blind in the dark. I've watched several videos that people have made on YouTube as far as like how you go about naming shit, or like what kind of like how you want to do your tags and all this kind of shit specifically. But I don't really find that I get much of a benefit from any of it. A lot of it, I think it's just absolute bullshit. But I've tried a couple of those like best practices, but definitely I'm hoping, once I get to, which I probably could even do it now. But I do agree with you as far as like collaborations and stuff like that could be really big. And I do think that I would enjoy it. It's just making that first step to like hit up somebody and be like, hey, do you want to do a cross stream? It kind of makes me cringe a little bit, but that's my own problem. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get on here and you want to talk on a fucking microphone for fun. You could do that regardless. But if you want to make the most of it, then you gotta politic with other people's outside the sandbox. Which, like I said, as far as like the actual conversations, I don't mind. It's just getting there. I'm like, ugh. But the Discord is a good thing as far as like networking. I've enjoyed that, and also just a shit ton of content that gets pushed through there. By the people on the Discord. It's really good for, if I'm looking for content and stuff. Let me see here. What else I got here before we end up running out of time with me vibing? Mainly because political debate panels are sort of big, relatively speaking. You do great, in my opinion. I appreciate that, brother. No, I should. It's like I said, it's just me. I got to get out of my comfort zone and just, do it and figure out. Sometimes it's the just not knowing. So I'm like, how do I even like really effectively reach out to those people? I do know that that's why I'm saying there's people that I could connect with now, but once I hit 1,000 subs and I'm able to, monetize the channel and things, I'm thinking as far as going to people and wanting to collaborate with, it'll be a little bit more easy in that way. But I'm probably, like I said, just overthinking it. I'll show you a few places to start looking to get into it. See if the juice is worth the squeeze. I'm sure it is too. It's just a matter of me taking that time and committing it to it. But like I said, bro, I've fucking on this thing for 5-6 hours. I really don't have an excuse. I could be maximizing the 5 and 6 hours, or I could do the 5 and 6 hours and just have fun with it. And whatever comes of that, which a lot of times is my sort of attitude that I approach it with, which is like, I enjoy doing this. Fact that we have over 800 subs and we've been able to get as many views as we have and things like that, those are all things that I'm super proud of and excited about. But I just don't really think of it as whoring myself out and just getting as much out of this as I can, although there's nothing wrong with that, even though I use the word whoring. Is there a negative connotation to the word whoring? Yeah, there is. Should there be? That's a whole nother conversation. Is it unfair to those honest women who popped it open for a set price? It's fair if you ask me. Let's see here. What did we want to talk about? Oh, I have this long ass video, so I might have to just get into that. But maybe first we'll do these shorter videos, actually. Haha. The rope-a-dope. Check out this. Hey, since I got you in here with me, Spoo, I don't know how late you're going to be able to kick it. So I understand that because it is late as hell. And I don't know if you work in the morning. So I want to be respectful to that. And I know this would be some shit you might find interesting. There's some WWE shit. Let's go, baby. It's the PlayStation, but same kind of thing, Those were the same nights. You heard this? I don't know. What wrestling game were you putting in when you heard this? Was it Here Comes the Pain? That was one of the first PlayStation. Oh, man, I work, but I'm up, GA. I feel you on that. You're a soldier. I mean, true soldier of the cause. But just because I want to be, because there's another video I got is like 50 minutes. So, 50 minutes plus me yammering equals 3 hours, which I actually might have to hold off on because now I'm seeing the time. Goddamn. This shit went quick as hell. Like I said, I only have till around 2. I could push it a little bit after 2. But I gotta hop in there so I make sure motherfuckers don't take those classes. Don't fucking snipe all the good ones. But let's see here. Oh yeah, this is what I want to get into.
And the Travis Scott component.
Travis Scott. And I wanted to talk to you about SummerSlam a little bit, audience, and my guy Yo Chill / Spoo. Shout out to you, my guy. This is on the Ariel Helwani show. Ariel Helwani talks about WWE stuff now because TKO bought WWE, I guess, is the reason. I'm not sure. But he talks about wrestling stuff now more often, which I'm not mad at. I've seen some good interviews on there. This one right here is with the man Paul Heyman. Excuse me. What are they talking about, you might ask? Well, what are they talking about? Oh, yeah, Travis Scott. So Travis Scott recently was in the WWE as like a little cameo kind of character. He was a part of John Cena's heel turn. So if you guys aren't WWE fans, I know this might make your fucking eyes glaze over, but it's okay. Deal with it. It is what it is. It's fucking art, boys. It's American art. Americana being painted on the canvas of the squared circle. And yeah, so he's asking Paul Heyman about that because Paul Heyman is a part of the creative with the WWE as well as manager and just a legend of the industry. So he's wanting to get his opinion on that. Travis Scott being a part of one of the biggest heel turns in history. Some people would say at the end, hindsight, looking back on it, kind of fumble fuck the shit out of it, to be completely honest, but that's fine. As far as like having The Rock be a part of that heel turn and then him completely disappearing. Sell me your soul. Okay, beat the shit out of in front of me. Now I'm going to just go ahead and disappear and you're not going to see me for fucking 5 months. I have no idea what that was all about. And this is coming from a guy I was fucking marking out for The Rock, bro. When he came back and he was doing the whole heel thing and he was calling people inbreds, bro, I was like one of them. Like, yeah, I was marking out. Like literally embarrassing myself in front of my family. My woman, she has not looked at me the same since those days. I'm trying to explain to her, like, this shit is fucking like the old fucking wrestling. We're back. We're fucking back right now. You know, there's questions as to whether we were actually back at the time. And let's see here. Destroyed the whole Cena Cody arc. No Rock to finish his arc. Straight butt. Yeah, absolutely. Straight butt, straight bullshit, straight garbage, straight poppycock. A lot of issues with it because of that. And then just throughout, I mean, even not to finish, which I mean, you're totally right on that. Like, you're not finishing it with The Rock, so that's fucked. But even throughout the entire arc, you make him like, what was even the actual purpose? I know the sad thing is, and this is the reality, this is how it gets fucking just depressing. When you see like the WWE Unreal documentary or you hear like the behind the scenes, they're getting more and more into kind of giving you that peek behind the curtain with the WWE. Which there's part of that I enjoy, but part of it I fucking cannot stand. Because then you hear conversations like this. Okay, so we're gonna do something here with the Elimination Chamber. Let's get the fucking Rock to come because we're not selling tickets. It's like, well, okay, so let me see. Should trans be banned from the military? Yes, that is. I'm gonna get to that, brother. I'm gonna get to that. Right now, we're talking about the WWE. So you came in on a slightly, more lighthearted topic than that. But I have a video with the Daily Show. They're doing an interview with some trans veterans, and they're talking about their experience. And I just wanted to pose the question. I'm curious what people think. Sonic 7, you go ahead and let me know. You let me know what your opinion is on that. Yo Chill says, side note, we got to take our ladies to a match together. Yeah, bro. Well, I mean, and the kids. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm back and forth with my daughter on it because I feel like she pulled an okie doke on me. There was like 4 weeks where she was like, when's wrestling come on? When's wrestling come on? I want to watch wrestling tonight, on nights that it's not even coming on. And she's like, oh yeah, whatever. Like the whole I love wrestling, just fucking, feeding me propaganda. And then all of a sudden, like fucking 2 weeks ago, maybe it was SummerSlam even. And she's like, I don't want to watch wrestling. I don't like wrestling. I'm like, fucking don't you dare. Don't you dare fucking turn on. And she did. She turned heel. She turned heel on me quick. But I'm still committed to brainwashing her into enjoying it. It was just too much of a thing in my childhood. It just is what it is. Parents get to do that. It's called child rearing. And, you got to tell your kid, like, WWE good, watch it. Watch it, enjoy it. And like I even let her do fucking like, hey, you want to drop a fucking atomic elbow on your dad? Go for it. Whatever it takes to get you to buy in. But she's stubborn, so I don't know. But I absolutely agree with you. And my lady, I have gotten her locked in on the wrestling, and she would love to do something as far as like getting together. She's she's like that as far as like always wanting to have a couple friends and that kind of deal. Not that I'm not interested in it, brother. It's a blessing that you would be a couple friend where the guy is not a fucking doll fucking sock puppet for his lady. So I could also get down with that, but you know how it is. Sometimes when the ladies are like, "Oh my god, let's hang out with my friend," and true story. One time we went to we went to the county fair or whatever with her friend that she met while she was working in the dental field, and so we're hanging out. She's from a little town outside of our little city, which and we're there at the carnival, bro. This guy just randomly starts telling me about how, he got robbed by these black guys in his town and how he chased him down. And I don't know, it got really close in this story to him basically like killing the guy, calling him a bunch of racial slurs. And this is like first time meeting me. It's like, bro, you think that this is the shit I want to hear? I just remember like vividly. I'm like, bro, you see my woman is multicultural, brother. You think I want to hear this shit? But yeah, no, he definitely laid it out. So, I have a weird thing with, couple friends sometimes. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, bro, it gets very weird. But like I said, since we already have a relationship, that would be super dope. And going to the WWE, honestly, I could have fun literally with that racist guy. If I went with that racist guy to the WWE, we would have been lit. The problem was we were at the fucking county fair and it was very awkward. But if we were at WWE, you want to go ahead? I think it'd be fucking fire. The guy that I'm with throws some racial slurs at a wrestler, maybe gets pulled over the fucking barricade, gets his ass stomped out on the fucking on the mat. I don't know. We got to try to find the tickets are key, brother. The tickets are key, but I know shit gets pricey. But that's something we got to work out. We're committed to that. But no, along with this Travis Scott thing, I wanted to kind of get your opinion on this, Spoo, and anybody out there that's a wrestling head like us. It just reminded me too of the jelly roll shit. I fucking hated that, bro. I absolutely hated the jelly roll with Randy Orton thing. It was so like that shit to me is honestly, and I know I sound like such a fucking loser saying this, so it's fine. Anybody out there wants to call me a loser, it's fine. I already fucking know. Okay? You can't hurt my feelings. I already fucking know. All right. But damn, what was I just saying? Wrestling, fucked up, horrible, jelly roll. Oh yeah. The having these fucking like guys like Jelly Roll, you have him come in and you're gonna have him stand up like he's about to beat fucking Drew McIntyre's ass. Guys, okay, I know what the WWE is, okay? I'm not a fucking kid. Even though I don't even want to say the F word that ends with an E. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. Not on this channel. We're not going to fucking say that. But when you have fucking Jelly Roll, and no disrespect, and there's so many things I could say that's disrespectful, but I'm going to choose not to. When you have him in a match, no experience, didn't earn, if anything, the same feeling that people have towards Logan Paul and how much shit people give Logan Paul. And I could argue with my lady about this a little bit. That's what I'm saying. We could go to a match because she's seen this side of me, how passionate I get about this American art form that I'm proud of. I'm proud to have taken part of as a fan with my brothers. Bro, we shed tears about this shit. So damn. Okay, what was I gonna say? See, once again, I'm kind of losing my train of thought because it gets like that. It gets like that with this shit. Like Jelly Roll coming in, just gonna fuck up Drew McIntyre, who's been disrespected for too goddamn long. I have become a little bit of a Drew McIntyre fan, so I will say that. But even then, like I said, the criticism that we give or that gets thrown at Logan Paul, he has actually come in and dropped his fucking nuts on the WWE a little bit. And he does epic fucking stunts. he actually, I mean, he doesn't wrestle like as often, you know. So I mean, that criticism, I guess, is sort of fair, but he still is like he's a consistent enough figure in the WWE to where, you know, it's fair to say that he's a part of the organization. Where like Jelly Roll, it's literally bro, hey, I'm gonna pull up for 4 weeks. You got me for 4. He got the fucking Legends contract. What the fuck is that? He got the Rock deal, which is crazy. Like what I said earlier about Elimination Chamber, they're like, fuck, we don't know if we're gonna be able to sell these tickets for Elimination Chamber. Called the Rock. They had that problem with SummerSlam, and they called up fucking Cardi B and fucking Jelly Roll. They called up Cardi B to come and say fucking 6 words the entire time, which I'm fine with. The bitch could have said 0. I would have loved that. That would have actually been better. But if you're gonna have her there, and I was dying laughing. I'm glad she didn't say too much because I was ready to roast her ass. I don't know anybody out there seeing fucking It's Always Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but probably my favorite fucking TV comedy of all time. But the whole fucking Martina Martinez shit, that's all I could think about when I was when I found out that she was hosting. I was doing that for like fucking 3 weeks. You fucking Martina Martinez. All these fine ass wrestlers around here walk around with all that baby oil. Come on now, you better get these white boys is crazy, right? I mean, honest to God, Cardi B though, for fucking what reason? What's like that's my problem. As somebody that like I grew up liking the shit. So when I see these motherfuckers come through and they're just, I guess because she got a fucking big old fat BBL ass on her and she has a fucking large social media following. I mean, why not get fucking Hawk 2 out there? Fuck it. Get Hawk 2 out there to fucking host Battle of the fucking Castle or whatever in Paris. Go for it. Hang her above the fucking ring and have a TLC match. First one to get Hawk 2 gets Hawk 2. All right. You see those boys go crazy. Are you even at WWE event without a slur too? No, that's 100% right. I got a cousin that I got to get him. He's just a wild boy. He would he would set it off for sure. But yeah, under the right circumstances and good fun, you know what I mean? There's a few places it's still allowed. There's the WWE and then there's a Boston Celtics game. Those are the 2 places that's still acceptable. It's not even considered, I think, a racial slur in those situations. Drew McIntyre is dope as fuck. I love a good Claymore. Hell yeah, Drew McIntyre is the man. And his kind of character, he has a unique character that he's portraying right now with sort of like he's basically like a fucking internet troll who's fucking like 6'5" and fucking shredded. You know what I mean? Like, so I like that. I would like to see him actually legitimately get a really solid championship run. I think he's deserved that. And I think if they booked him correctly, he has like the presence and he has the physique and the presence to be a really dominant champion. So I wish they would fucking book him like that, bro. He should have a really good sort of program that he does with like Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, something like that. So I can't believe they had Brock Lesnar come back after he was just being fed fucking WWE divas behind the scenes. Crazy. And then fucking camera girls and shit. They had to fucking dig the bottom. They were really scraping the bottom of the barrel by the time Brock Lesnar left. That might have been why he left. He's like, damn, I ran through everybody. Feed me more. He's a great mix of attitude era gimmick, but much more contemporary. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. He does push that. I think he's a kind of character that if you did want to lean into sort of the next era of WWE, if the last era was PG and we're right now moving into whatever the fuck they call it. I think they call it the Netflix era. Isn't that the most cringe fucking thing you've ever heard? Sounds like we're living in fucking cyberpunk. We didn't call the fucking last era the USA Network era. Everybody would have fucking gagged if you said that. So yeah, the Netflix era, I hope that doesn't stick. But I do hope that we get more pushing the boundaries, more counterculture kind of vibes from wrestling. I think that's just what makes it great and what makes it interesting. when you're trying to tiptoe lines and like make it like it's a kid show, like even if a lot of the audience is kids, and I understand that, and I'm not trying to be the fucking grown-ass man that's like, I want wrestling to mature with me and it should still be for me. I think, you know, there should be a certain level of consideration given to the fact that there's a, you know, large audience of kids, but that's why you have characters like Bailey and things like that mixed in. What really makes, and who the kids really like in wrestling, let's be honest, it's the fucking counterculture characters. It's the, like when I was a kid, like one of the first wrestlers I remember fucking with heavy was Sting. It's like, we didn't give a fuck about the like child friendly characters. That's not what kids are watching it for. So even then, like if you're treating them with the respect of an audience member, not, you know, completely treating them like a child, then I think that you would come out on the other side and be like, okay, well, you know, kids like the Undertaker too. They like to be a little fucking spooked, you know, they like to be a little spooked. And like at that time, Undertaker actually works. You know what I mean? We were talking about the supernatural characters the other day. And at that time, when you're a kid, like I know there was a period where my dumb ass was like, yo, fucking the Undertaker's dead. Like, the Undertaker's fucking fighting people and he's dead. Is he actually? Can he not speak? Seriously. The Kane comes out. I'm like, oh my God, that's Undertaker's brother from hell. I mean, bro, they had me. So it's like, you know, we don't need fucking, by the way, think about how sick this is in the PG era. We'll make it more for kids. Let's go ahead and put fucking the New Day out there with trumpets and fucking pastel spandex. Okay, so far cringe and kid friendly, I guess, sort of. But then let's have them fucking come out with a cereal called Booty-O's and have the kids eating booty for breakfast. What in the fuck is wrong? That's how you know how sick the WWE was. It's and Vince McMahon, honestly. How you know how fucking depraved that man's mind was. He's like, we're going to make it all about the kids and all this, but we're going to just throw a little bit of like fucking weird dog whistles in there. We'll throw some fucking weird, uncomfortable dog whistles and have the kids eating booty for breakfast. The Paul Bearer with him was wild as a kid. Oh, bro, 100%. I still remember, I think it was WrestleMania 20. I've talked on here before. I don't want fucking WWE to come get my ass and deport me or some shit, but I do have some of those DVDs on hand. So the original shit, like the shit where it still has Crispin Wall in it. That kind of, yeah. The DVDs. I could pop WrestleMania 20 in and I could see Eddie Guerrero and Crispin Wall embrace. That's wild. On the Peacock version, they edited that part out, I read, but I haven't went back and watched it there because, like I said, I got the DVD. If I ever want to go back, I will. But I think that was the WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, where Undertaker came back as the Dead Man and ditched the American Badass gimmick. And so I remember, even if that wasn't the one where he came back, it might have been WrestleMania 21. I'm trying to think who was the opponent. Let me know, Spoo, if you end up looking that up or whatever. But yeah, so Undertaker, when he came back though as the Dead Man, I remember that entrance, you know, and I remember that being like fucking iconic. You know, where he had the cowboy hat on again and the trench coat. I think the cowboy hat might have even been like more of a new mainstay. He might have had that on at points, but I don't think he was rocking that all the time when he was like Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. Fucking legendary times though. That's what I mean. Like that. Sting was another one. I thought Sting might have been dead. Shit. Some of these wrestlers I thought died, you know? Genuinely. And they weren't. I mean, they fucking had spray tans, for God's sake. So, I mean, the blood, I mean, not the spray tan is actually indicative of any kind of like blood pumping through the body, I guess. But yeah, under the white face paint, Sting was a fucking bodybuilder, bro. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? I was a dumbass kid. But we all were dumbass kids. That's the thing. You got to give them that time. Don't treat them like little fucking babies and give them fucking the New Day rocks, eat the Booty-O's. And then you fucking put the strap on fucking Big E for some reason. Then his neck gets cracked. Mistakes were made through that entire era. So I welcome the new era. Another thing they need to do, by the way, why I got you here, Spook Brother. I want to know your opinion on Karrion Kross. Come on. How they're fumbling fucking the whole Karrion Kross. That's another thing. It's similar to the LA Knight thing. which I hadn't, when we talked about LA Knight the other day, I hadn't seen the new Raw, so I didn't see how he was actually facing Seth Rollins. So I actually haven't finished that Raw, I don't think. But I watched enough of it to where I saw that the match got announced. So that might kind of fly in the face of what I was saying, but I still think that they kind of let that cool down. They let it sit for way too fucking long. They let that bitch sit on the counter until it was fucking less than room temp. You know how sometimes you have things on the counter and then you go and you eat them, you're like, damn, how is this fucking cold? It's not even that cold in the house. That's a little bit like what they did to LA Knight, which is just a fucking travesty because he was red hot on fire. I was catching like viral TikTok clips and shit of people like bugging their wife with the whole yeah thing. It was a moment. They were ready to, if they would have taken that and run with it. I mean, and I know this is a little hyperbolic because there's so few movements that were this powerful. And I guess I'm not really saying fully to the powers of Daniel Bryan's yes movement, but he had a little bit of that energy, you know, where, you know, so other people who were supposed to be being pushed at that time, getting shouted down by the fucking, you know, LA Knight catchphrase. And like I said, we know that was bad with Daniel Bryan. He would be in the ring and he would be like the WWE, they're intending to like basically have him in the ring as just like an extra peon. You have fucking Randy Orton and John Cena in the middle of the ring and people are screaming for Daniel Bryan. That was just a crazy ass time. I didn't fall for it though. I personally didn't fall for it. I was one of them. I was eye rolling with the Daniel Bryan shit. I'm like, really? I hate when they do that. Same thing with Sami Zayn. I hate when the crowd starts going, fucking just give him a championship because he's been here for a long time. I'm like, you fucking sheep. Get the fuck out of here with that. Is Sami Zayn, be honest, is Sami Zayn a fucking WWE champion? Fuck no. Fuck no, he's not. Don't say that. Kevin Owens, whenever they put the shit on him, I'm like, come on, be serious. We're talking about, one, the characters I don't give a fuck enough about, and then on top of that, I gotta say it again. You're putting him up against fucking Drew McIntyre's, and then we're supposed to pretend that Sami Zayn's gonna beat Drew McIntyre or some shit like that. Fucking Drew McIntyre is a fucking brick shit house. These guys should not be fucking with him, to be honest. They've just totally fucked that and fucked it. Karrion Kross, though, I need to know how you feel about that, Spoo. If you're still in the building, I understand it is late, so if I end up losing you, I'm not mad, but I'm gonna have to remember to ask you about that off show here if it ends up going down like that. Wow, I never listened to this video. Okay, all right. So, as I said, fucking 40 minutes ago, this is Ariel Helwani. He is interviewing Paul Heyman. They're talking about Travis Scott. Let me know how you feel about this. Travis Scott's cameo in the WWE. We just kind of went over how he was connected to the John Cena thing. Let me know how you feel about that. Do you think it went over as a success? Obviously fucking not. If you say that, then you're not watching the shit. But how do you feel? Maybe we sold some Cactus Jack out of it. Let's get it.
Component and the Travis Scott component. It didn't seem like there was a payoff to all of that.
There was. It fell apart, and we moved forward without it.
What fell apart?
The whole deal with Travis Scott.
Is it true that he's pissed people off and he's done? Is that true?
I don't know if he's done.
With the WWE, you have to wonder, are these motherfuckers lying? They lie too goddamn much. So every time they're sitting here telling you a piece of information, you have to listen to it and be like, is Paul Heyman just sitting here fucking lying? Did Triple H tell him, yeah, go on, Ariel Helwani, we just signed that ESPN thing. Go ahead and tell him that Travis Scott's done and he's an asshole. And the next thing you know, fucking WrestleMania. Fiend. I can just sit here all day. Fiend. If you don't know, you know. I know, like if you don't know Travis Scott, not aware, then you know it doesn't hit the same way. But come on, please.
Stay Any meeting Scott that I was in that involved Travis Scott, I got along with him fine. I heard things? I have. Do I know the accuracy of it? Haven't heard Travis's version of it. Like his music, like his taste in women that he has children with. Wish I was dating one of those sisters. I'm not. He was married to one.
Why is he on here? Like, how did it? As a brother who sometimes gets a little off track, I can respect that from somebody. But he's talking about Travis Scott, and all of a sudden he just starts talking about how hot his fucking baby mom is, and then fucking nasty ass fucking Gollum Paul Heyman is like, I wish I was dating one of the Kardashians. He's like, I don't understand, but why won't the Kardashians fuck me? And then I'm pretty sure Paul Heyman has like a fucking baddie too. So it's like, how's she feel? She's over here letting this fucking creature crawl on top of her and breathe in her face. At first chance he gets, he starts fucking saying like, bring me Kylie Jenner. Bring me Kylie Jenner. What the fuck? World's not fair. He said KK is loved by the fans, but he's not been on my radar, to be honest. Def not just a journeyman level talent, but sort of in the vein of Kevin Owens in that he doesn't have that look to be champ. I feel you on that, but I mean, and his tattoos honestly piss me off. They're so dumb. So I feel you, but I don't know if I would go that far. We have to think, one, Kevin Owens has been champ, but I agree with you. I don't like for him to be champ. So I think he could be one of those guys, like not like a face of the company, but he could fit well in as like a, one of the heels that causes, issues for the baby faces. So I personally think they're fumbling with him because I think that we have a little bit of a lack of, truly great heels in the WWE. He might be better suited to go to SmackDown because I think they need, like, for example, like Seth and Gunther. Who else over there on Raw? But I mean, even Seth and like his whole faction and Gunther, like that's a lot of TV time for heels, already on Raw. So I think it is kind of harder to see how he fits in on Raw, but on SmackDown, I think he would be awesome if he was going for the United States title for at least now, but I personally think we could see him go for the WWE title. I don't see why not. I think he would, like the storyline that he just had with Sami Zayn, which I think totally got fucking ruined. It would have been way better for Karrion Kross to go over in that scenario, in my opinion, but whatever. I think a similar kind of story, it couldn't have worked because he was so caught up with the John Cena storyline, but like a story like that with Cody Rhodes, he kind of like represents like the anti Cody Rhodes in that way, where Cody Rhodes represents professional wrestling to like a T, like he's a living fucking action figure of a wrestler. I feel like Karrion Kross kind of is the antithesis. Well, not even the antithesis, because I think he still kind of represents that same thing just on the other side. So he's like the mirror image of it in a way. Where like just everything about him is kind of like slimy, and he just reminds me of a classic heel a little bit. I wish he'd kind of take on the vein of like an Edge. Edge is such a underrated heel in my opinion. And not that people think that he's shit or not awesome, but it's like literally, in my opinion, Edge is like one of the all-time great heels. And just because of the moments, I'm sure you've heard wrestlers talk about like wrestling isn't about the moves. It's not about the promos necessarily or this or that. It's about the individual moments that stick with people. And Edge just had so fucking many of those, bro. With his like ultimate opportunist storyline, he just was consistently like with John. If you were a fan of John Cena at that time, Edge made you fucking fall to your knees. No, Cena. Yeah, for sure. Golly. Yeah, Edge, Christian. Exactly. I was just thinking that Edge, Christian. Exactly. Yeah. So just kind of like a, arrogant asshole, but still like kind of like the thing that's cool with him and Edge and Christian give me these vibes just because they like represent like real ass wrestling, like the way that the old school way of becoming a wrestler, not the Logan Paul fucking jelly roll way of going about it, or even like the I don't know if Bianca Belair did it this way, but like who's Tiffany Stratton, who I fuck with Tiffany Stratton heavy. And a lot of these people, like we talked about how great the women's wrestling has been, but a lot of that is them specifically recruiting people who are athletes. So not people who are people who love what wrestling is or the art form of wrestling, which Karrion Kross, he harkens back to that. Like people who watch wrestling or got into wrestling because they loved it. You know what I mean? And like, we're willing to spend however many years on the fucking independent scene, wrestling in fucking gymnasiums and shit. Like, he just represents that. And I think that was really what the storyline between him and Sami Zayn was really trying to appeal to in Sami Zayn's character. And I think that's why having Sami Zayn go over is like, what the fuck was that storyline? What was the point of it? Was it like just to show like, just Sami Zayn's just such a fucking swell guy. He can't be fucking he can't be tempted. I didn't like how they had fucking Karrion Kross's own woman giving him the fucking pipe and shit. So whatever that was supposed to be about was kind of nuts to me. Especially if you weren't gonna have him go through with that or something. So it's like, how does that develop her character? And doesn't it just undermine like the relationship that her and Karrion have, basically? Like, she's supposed to be, if she's supposed to be like a mastermind, or just supposed to be like some kind of like equivalent tool for Karrion's character, I think it kind of fucked it up in that way. So I didn't like that they did that, but typical bullshit. From back in the day. Yeah, make the motherfucker a vampire like Edge and Christian, for real. Sami Zayn is the SpongeBob of WWE. Yeah, Mr. I'm Ready himself. Fucking his music, whatever his music hits, I hate it. Oh my god! But that's probably what's so cool about it. You know why it'd be epic to go to a live event, because I know that everybody else is gonna go crazy, and if I'm in the live event kind of setting, his shit might hit, you know, and I mean, might be one of them that goes, "Let's go!" If I do that, just look at me and just be like, "Bro, come on, come on, you sold out." But I mean, the vibes just might just be too powerful to not get behind it. But yeah, so this is talking about the Travis Scott, just so we can put a bow on this one, because I do have a few more videos that had to do, maybe just one more video that had to do with wrestling I wanted to get to. But yeah, to put a bow on this, the Travis Scott shit I hated. I felt like it really helped to not overshadow, but just it made the whole turn of John Cena, it just seemed random. It seemed like a fucking it seemed like a WWE cutscene, you know. I mean, in the video games, like where you have factions that just don't even make any sense. You have like fucking Sin Cara in a faction with fucking Randy Orton and the fucking Hurricane or some shit. So when you see those cutscenes, you're just like, well, this just looks kind of fucking weird. It was like that. It's like, what the why does he belong? And also, it's not even as simple as that, because when we talk about like the Karrion Kross thing and the old way to go about, you know, becoming a wrestler and kind of like developing your character and developing your reputation, it's the exact opposite of that. You have on the biggest pay-per-view of the entire year, you have somebody who's put zero work in as a wrestler come out and smack the shit out of your champion, Cody Rhodes. And like I said, just think about what that look could have meant for countless other wrestlers in the back. I mean, for Karrion Kross, which, I mean, maybe he wouldn't have worked in that role, who knows, but whatever. And it also way more believable, because like, why is The Rock walking out with Travis Scott? Like, what purpose does that serve? Like, Travis Scott's not like actually backup for The Rock, is he? Like, is The Rock the final boss? You know, is he going out there with Travis Scott and then being bodyguard for Travis Scott? That's like kind of, that goes against final boss shit. Final boss doesn't fucking bodyguard for people like a bitch. Like, come on. And also, bodyguard man doesn't get to say, you know, off with his head. So it's just completely inconsistent bullshit. I like this comparison though, for real, because he is. It's just like like I said, he pulled a Mickey Mouse. He's like, I can't be tempted by anything. Sami Zayn, you've been a bad guy, bro. Other times, you've already been a bad guy. Come on. Let's just have some fun. And also be a good guy, but then maybe you can let fucking Karrion Kross, who is heating up, and you know that Sami Zayn, it wouldn't have mattered. It honestly doesn't matter that he beat Karrion Kross. It does nothing for him. It would have done something for Karrion Kross's character if he would have beat Sami Zayn. Live events are electric, bro. It's so fucking fun. Yeah, I know. Like I said, they'll get me wrapped up in the mob mentality. I'll be out there with the fucking let's go and fucking doing EO Sky face points and shit like a fucking child. Could even hit an indie one first. Oh yeah, well, I mean, there's the sometimes I've seen that they have like some super shows down in like Fort Myers and shit. So definitely I'd be down for that. I'd be down for a AEW event. get those tickets. Got to be fucking dirt cheap. I don't know what's going on with MJF. The problem with, I guess, that would be I'm not really as locked in with the story, so I'd be a little bit lost. But WWE for sure, bro. I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to give Penta the little fucking upside down, 3 thingy and all that. I'm trying to pay my dog his respect, Sierra Meadow or whatever the fuck they say. That's how I'm coming. But yeah, we'll have to set that up. I know my lady would be super down for that. She would be ecstatic. We just gotta put the money to the side and make sure we're good for that. And then also figure out what time that they end up coming back to Florida. I'm sure it won't be too long. I can't really complain because we get the WWE shows more consistently than probably anybody. But at the same time, it's still like fucking months will pass and there's no like live televised events anyways. But I would love to make that happen, brother. We can make it happen. Like I said, I'd have to bring my child because I don't have any family down here, so there's no babysitting or any of that. Could even hit a live event. Yeah, I saw that. So this is the other video I have. This is another WWE video. After that, I think I'll be all out of the WWE videos. But I do have some other shit here. Let me see. I'm just trying to see what all I need to talk about tonight, and then what I could hop on here and talk about tomorrow or the day after or whatever. This is a short video. I just want to get your opinion, just the crowd's opinion on it. This will be a little buffer. Tell me who's in the wrong, guys. Because I honestly don't know if I could blame my man. Like right there. Because he made the save. So it's like this is sexism. If you look at this and you're like, well, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that to a lady. He sold out because he's trying to protect home plate, which is his job. He wasn't ready. You shouldn't be running with that much momentum and that much confidence if you weren't ready to fucking run up against the brick wall. I just saw a lot of comments in this video with people hating on my guy here. He fucking totally sold out. If I was on his team, he came up to me, I'd give him a fist bump for that one. And also I'd be like, bro, equal rights like a motherfucker. equal rights like a motherfucker on this diamond. And you respect that, you regulate. Thing is, look, he's out there making sure every single lady is treated exactly the same. There was one time I could speak on this, actually, and I'm consistent with my actions on this. If you are a lady, God bless you, and I love you. But if you step on this might be a good transition to that trans comment, that trans subject, but just playing that we got to talk about Tiffany Stratton's fun ass. But yeah, if you step on the field, you step on the court, there is no genders at that point. That is true. That is true, actually. I can agree with that. Once you step into the squared circle there, you're going to stand toe-to-toe. At the end of the day, you can get RKO'd, you can get slammed, I love the intergender matches. Let's go. We need more of those. We need an intergender champion. Let's go. What the fuck are we waiting on? I was actually, Spoo, if you're in the comments still, I wanted to ask you this because I was spitballing with my old lady on this one. I do think it is the perfect time for a trans wrestler, like just as like a heel. I think culturally we're ready for it. And I think it would just have people so think about the heat. Think about the fucking heat. CM Punk probably wouldn't like it because it is a little insensitive, and I get that. And I get it's insensitive. But at the same time, I'm recognizing it's insensitive, and I'm saying wrestling is about taking risk. It's about telling stories, American stories, and other stories, but just saying, this would be an American one. So yeah, just having like a trans lady come through and just fuck up, like take Jade Cargill and just put her ass through a fucking announcer's table one time for us. Just spitballing here. I don't make the rules and I don't make the decisions, but I do hope there's somebody in those rooms as courageous as I am, willing to say what needs to be said. Which is that storyline needs to happen, and it's literally the perfect time for it. That'd be like having black wrestlers go up to the Appalachian wrestling circuit. Shit would work like a charm. There you go. Exactly, brother. That's what I mean. Get in there, fucking have people fucking have the fucking hillbillies at the wrestling events crying, bro. No, you can't slam her. You can't slam her. Protect Tiffany Stratton. But think about it, honestly, with wrestling, it works. It's a work to begin with. You know what I mean? So I just think you really take advantage of the moment and just had literal tears, bro. People would be fucking hot. Shit would sell out so fast, bro. The amount of like think pieces on the internet about how offensive, and like I said, that might be the actual way. Like for wrestling to fully step into where basically wrestling steps into we don't give a fuck again. For God's sakes, these are the people that did the whole fucking terrorist angle. Like right after fucking 9/11 or right before 9/11. I don't remember which one it was, but if it was before, it persisted after. And then I'm pretty sure they killed it shortly after because people were like, well, what the fuck is going on, guys? We're scared of terrorists now, for real. They actually did come over here. But they went for it and many more. I mean, fucking had Mark Henry getting old women pregnant and old women fucking birthing hands. So really nothing is off limits if you have courageous writers. If you have a courageous writing staff who believes in, testing the limits of free speech, you get that fucking trans wrestler out there and you put her one-on-one. And I mean, honestly, you got to put her one-on-one against the wrestlers we love. Rhea Ripley, she's going to have to take a dive. I'm sorry. I love Rhea. Like we talked about that. I love Rhea. But at the same time, you gotta let Joanna Man go over. It's what it is. So this video right here, this is Tiffy time. Who I fuck with heavy? Tiffany Stratton. She's a beautiful angel doll. WWE Women's Champion right now. I was very happy when she won over Jade Cargill. I'm not even gonna lie, because the Jade Cargill win was the predictable way. If she would have lost to Jade Cargill, then it would have been like, okay, that's exactly kind of how this all pans out. And it's just like wrestling as usual. And you're kind of just, this person gets to hold on to the belt for a little bit. This really actually does a lot to build Tiffany Stratton into, something interesting. I liked her program that she ran with Nia Jax rather. And I just like her character in general as far as like a female wrestler in the ring. She's fucking fire. That perfect moonsault and she'll do some other shit as well, but the perfect moonsault her finisher is dope. So this is Tiffany Stratton. She was on Logan Paul's podcast. Usually I wouldn't feel great about, playing these fucking tools podcasts necessarily. But in this case, something kind of interesting did get divulged. And I just want to play it. Here we go.
I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'm just going to talk about this.
Ooh, I
edgy.
like your style going full.
Edgy time. So actually, when I was in NXT, after one of my matches, I cut somebody off in my parking garage and they were like yelling at me through their car. So I pulled over. This is where my big balls come into play.
Big balls.
And they pull over. Ooh. And a guy gets out of the car. So then I get out of the car and we're talking.
This is one problem. This is one problem when you fight people for a living in scripted fights. You get fucking cut off by a fucking man and you decide as, probably like a 5'8" woman who's probably, I don't even want to disrespect her, so I'm not even going to say weight, but let's just say beautiful. You hop out to fucking get nose to nose with some random fucking man in a fucking road rage. The correct move here, and we'll listen to the rest of the story. It gets worse. The correct move here always, if you stop, and she did say that he got out of the car first, so you knew it was a man when you hopped out. It's so fucking crazy. When you stop in road rage traffic and somebody hops out of their car, the correct move is to pull off and laugh. You pull off and you're supposed to go, you dumbass, you got out of the fucking car. What are you thinking? I'm not going to get out of the car and fight you. Suck my dick. Yell something like that out the window. Sean, shout out to you, my brother. We're in here. We're fucking rock hard. Fucking listening to Tiffany Stratton talk about getting her shit stomped in, unfortunately.
We're talking shit. Then his girlfriend gets out of the car.
2-on-1.
Yeah, 2-on-1. And I start talking shit with the girlfriend.
Handicap match.
And I push her.
Oh, holy shit.
She pushes me back.
Oh my God.
We start fucking brawling.
What? Oh, you would be Bradley Martin in a street fight.
And then she takes her long ass nails,
like how they're joking,
digs them in my braid, and gets me down on the ground. And this is where it takes a turn. So And the guy just fucking stomps right on my face.
Oh,
That's just what it is. And I like how leading up to this, they're not taking the story serious at all that Sabrina Carpenter's telling them. And they're just like, oh, you would beat Bradley Martin in a fight. Ha 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 ha. No, she wouldn't. She fought this fucking random ass motherfucker, this crackhead that was at a fucking NXT show. Holy shit. You fought somebody that went to an NXT show. I mean, those are some fucking degenerate wrestling fans. Seriously. She fucked up. And that's the problem. And that's what happens when you fight people in scripted fights for a living. Also, I'm not going to say the word that starts with an F and then ends with an E. Not on this stream. We're not going to talk about wrestling like that here. But let's just say scripted, though. Let's say that because we got to talk about it. Okay, you do that for a living. That does not mean that you can hop out the car and beat a man's ass. You got to be careful, Sabrina Carpenter. Your face is too beautiful. And you got stomped out in the fucking, guess what? The fucking perfect moonsault or whatever the fuck her finisher move's called. Ineffective in a street fight. Ineffective. There's no turnbuckle here. You're not going to smack him one time and he's going to stand on his fucking car like he just got hit with a fucking nuclear bomb across the face. No. You're going to get in each other's face. His wife, this is what happens in street fights. His wife grabs you by your fucking braid, your beautiful braid that was braided for, your theatrical stage play fight that you had. She's going to grab that bitch and she's going to pull you to the fucking ground and let her man do a fucking curb stomp on you. She should have never been in that position. She should have never been in that position. The correct way to handle that, and I'm letting everybody know as somebody, I've been in some dicey situations in the streets. I've been some places and I've been in some road rage incidents as well. When somebody gets out of the car on the road, they may have a weapon on them. They may not. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm laughing at them and I'm fucking hitting the gas. I did that to a lady one time. She was sitting at the fucking stop sign being a fucking dumb bitch. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but she got out of the car and she thought I was going to get out. Now, could I have got out of the car and beat that old lady's ass right in my fucking housing development? Left her fucking bloody on the street right by the fucking stop sign? Of course I could have. Of course I could have. But even then, even in a situation where it more than likely would have went in my favor, because I mean, this lady was fucking built like a fucking secretary of 30 years. She's been sitting on her ass for a long ass time, and she does not go get the lunches. She has seniority. She don't even fucking walk to the Jersey Mike's. Hell no. The new bitch can go ahead and go get the fucking Jersey Mike's today. Martha will be sitting at her fucking desk. She has shit to do that she never gets done. So yeah, that happened. And guess what? Like I said, I wasn't even in danger and I had to say, "Hi, bitch, you look dumb. You look dumb now. You're fucking outside of your car. It's hot where I live." So Tiffany Stratton should have done the same thing I did. She should have done the James way, which is we don't get involved in those kind of incidents. Fuck no. We tell them to lick our balls and we keep on driving. And that was it for that. It was a pretty straightforward story. She just got her shit.
damn.
What is going on?
I broke a face bone.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Look at Logan Paul. He needs to stop. Even though I'd be doing the exact same thing. She told me that story. If she told me that story, I'm like, ugh! That makes me so mad. If I seen them, that'd be me. I'd be just like Logan Paul, actually, to be honest. But I'm gonna give him a hard time because I'm not. Oh, they did what to you, Tiffany? Oh, I swear to God, if I was there. If I was there, I would have protected you. Tell me what they look like. I like that one. What do they look like? I've actually seen motherfuckers like this on the job get really upset about discretion. They said what to you? I swear to God, Tiffany, no. Yeah, where were you, Logan? You might have been at the event. Andretti, shout out to you, my brother. I dropped that link earlier. Maybe you weren't in here. I don't remember, but you see, I've been in here rocking for a little bit. Really, Chill got in here, and me and him were just talking about some WWE shit. So you honestly probably wouldn't have been interested regardless. But that it had to happen. And shout out to Sandor too, because Sandor fucking been telling me, he's like, hey, take a night off talking about the WNBA and just see what happens. Here I am. And by the way, WNBA, that's code word for the small hats. That's that. Oh, I oughta. Yeah. I can't believe it. They did what to you? No. You would have got shot, Logan. Shut the fuck up.
Have you told this story?
That's assault.
This is
Nobody
insane.
knows this,
Oh
so
my
you're
God.
welcome.
Listen, have you told that story? That's assault. That's assault. He wants to go find justice. Me too, though, to be honest. I'm with him. Like I said, I'd be doing the exact same thing. I can't even hate. Did you report it to the authorities? The authorities, I mean? No, that's not right. I'd be like, it's sad. It's sad in America. I'd be making full fucking judgments on the entire country based off that. This is not the country that our grandparents lived in. He fucked up. Yeah, cape on and everything. Ready. Brother's ready to go fucking hunt him down. Wants to get a fucking professional sketch made. Did he have dark hair?
Yeah.
Broke a face bone. So that's why I was out for so long in NXT.
Oh,
You gotta realize, bro.
Shit. Oh, shout out to Hulk Hogan. Oh, I got something for his ass. Rest in peace. By the way, is it okay to say rest in peace to Hulk Hogan? I don't even know. I've seen a lot of people say for him to go fuck himself, even though he died. He was a wild boy and did say some racist shit. But you can say somebody's racist and then still say, I hope they don't burn in hell for eternity, I think. Right? Isn't some shit like, isn't there like levels of severity for anything even, you know? Like we agree, like bringing on harm to our fellow man is wrong. Of course, I agree with that. But we agree, like, you know, punching somebody is worse than, or not as bad as killing somebody, right? So it's like saying some racist shit about your daughter's boyfriend, not the right thing to do, and something that we should, you know, expect better from our American heroes. I'm with that. I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that statement. But damn, condemn them to eternal damnation because brother Sandor, hey, I just mentioned you, my brother. This whole stream, I've been trying to keep it WNBA free, if you feel what I'm saying. And we, for the most part, have been good. I wouldn't say that we've been going any crazier than usual, but at the same time, you know, we have done that little test that you had suggested. Hulk Hogan is cool. Okay, there you go. Terry Bolello. That sucks. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, and like I said, I think that you could say that he sucks even, and still not feel like the guy, you know, deserves eternal, you know, damnation. I don't know. Like I said, it's just me. Right here, this is another video I had for Hulk Hogan. It just ended up working out like that. Just had an epic damage. Oh, that's what happened to me, bro. That is what happened to me earlier today. I was planning on going the normal time, but I got home today and I ended up sitting down. I already told the stream this story, but my daughter, she was acting up. So when I got home, it was, you know, one of those things where her mom was like, hey, you gotta talk to her. So we sat down. Mistake. That timeout ended up being a fucking nap for me. It was even like one of those where you kind of like, I'm out of it. So I even heard when her mom came and got her, and she was like, Daddy said that I'm in trouble and I can't get up. Which was correct. And she shouldn't have got up, honestly. So yeah, I relate to the epic dad naps. They are epic indeed. Unfortunately, I actually have to hop off here soon. I'm 30 minutes over even. We haven't actually talked about it before, Sandor, but I'm actually still in school, so I have to go pick my college classes. That is today. So at 2:00 that opened up. I got to go select those before, you know, all the shit that I have to fucking be in, all the classes I have to be in, get fucking nabbed up. But before I go, I do have a few other things, and I did have a long reaction to this, like fucking Pierce Morgan, you know, is Jesus Christ Superstar completely shitting on the legacy of Jesus Christ himself. But that seems like that's going to be a little bit too much for me to get into. Literally, like all the classes will be gone if I do that. because when could we stop? There'll be a whole filibuster. I'll be on here for 8 hours proselytizing about the power of our Lord. But speaking of power of our Lord, oh brother, yes, definitely busy. Got to stay busy. But then again, like I love doing this, and I know that I put a lot of time into like getting on here and chopping it up. And I could be maximizing that if I had a little bit more time to edit this shit. I gotta get some money put to the side just so I can have somebody fucking edit these long ass podcasts. That would be a benefit. Next time I go live, I probably am going to use that restream that we talked about and try to go live through Rumble as well. Because one thing I do have to prepare for is the inevitability of, this YouTube potentially being wiped off the planet of the earth by the WNBA. So, just so I can prepare for that, an inevitable pilgrimage to Rumble, I probably should just go ahead and fucking do it. But this video right here, this is a oldie but a goodie. I was gonna play it closer to when Hulk Hogan died, but I just never got around to it. This isn't to disrespect Hulk Hogan, but this is just at the same time fucking hilarious.
You say you want to fuck Hulk Hogan himself.
Well, maybe I can do that himself, but not his wife, not his daughter. I mean, I'm going to fuck him up differently. That means beat the fuck out of him and suplex him, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, and fuck his ass and make him humble. That's why I said it. Right. But besides that...
Yeah! Yeah, baby. I love it. Iron Sheik gets me fucking hyped. This man's fucking Twitter back in the day was underrated. One of the first things that ever got me to make a Twitter was Iron Sheik, to be honest.
I don't want to talk about his family. That's a chip in. Sheik. You're another one I heard. Sheik. You're going to be in my list sooner or late.
Sheik.
Shout out to Howard Stern being canceled, by the way.
But you say you want to fuck Hogan in the ass. That's gay.
I know, but I just said it differently. Instead of I fuck his ass with my dick, instead I'm gonna fuck his ass with a beer bottle.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Holy shit, it got so violent. Like, the thing is, listen, and there's nothing that, we consistently talk about how much we love our brothers in the Middle East. One thing they will not take, even if they did just say they'd fuck a man in the ass, they will not take the homosexual slander. So he had to clean it up real quick, which I don't know if it's cleaning it up saying you're going to sodomize a man with a beer bottle. Did he make it better? Look, you guys let me know if the Iron Sheik saved that at the end.
See, with a beer bottle.
Yes,
okay. All right, because I was worried.
That's not gay.
Said, hell no, that's not gay. Nothing gay about fucking a man with a beer bottle. Nothing gay about that at all. That's how you dominate a man. That's called domination. A woman wouldn't know anything about that and shouldn't speak about it. Although they have double the opportunity of domination, but that's either way. That's a dark path that I don't know if I'm really ready to flesh that whole thought out live over air. No, but I agree with you here, Sandor. The Sheik is such good value. What a fucking legend, brother. I mean, if he didn't make us just embrace the beautiful people of the Middle East, we should have, a long time ago, we should have overthrown Iran and we should have just put fucking Iron Sheik here and just said, whatever you do with it's fine. Whatever you do with it's fine. I know that we trust you. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, will we then have potential Gaddafi issues just instead of bayonets? We're talking beer bottles in the street. I don't know. It's not gay. Keep the kafefi on. Yeah, exactly. 100%. That keeps it fucking, that keeps you protected from God. God doesn't see what you're doing. God doesn't see what you're doing as long as you protect the top of your head. He was a legit hard man. No, 100%. I'm pretty sure he was. I might be talking out of my ass here, but I think he was in the fucking military. Let me check before I give him some stolen valor. Earlier, we had Superman on here, and he was stealing the valor of ICE agents. He's like, I'm excited to throw some fucking illegals in the back of a van. And then they ask him later, so are you going to actually be in the vans? Well, no, they said I wouldn't have to do that. Let's see here. This is just a little overview on the Wikipedia for our man, the Iron Sheik. So this could be all false, but who gives a fuck? This is a legend. So Vaziri was born in 1942. That's a tough time to be born. in Damgan, Imperial State of Iran, and grew up in a working class family who had little money and no running water. The motherfucker didn't have running water growing up. He would have fucked Hulk Hogan in his ass, to be honest, if he ever decided to do so. He celebrated his birthday on September 9th due to his family, alternating between the Gregorian calendar and the solar Hijri calendar. In his youth, he idolized Iranian Olympic champion Takhati, and he subsequently made a name for himself as an amateur wrestler. He served in the Imperial Iranian Army and worked as a personal bodyguard to Shah Muhammad Reza Pahlavi and his family for several years. Interesting. Vaziri competed for a spot on Iran's Greco-Roman wrestling team for the 1968 Summer Olympics. So yeah, he was legit in the military, and he was a like Olympic level wrestler in Iran. And then he said, "Fuck it, I'll come over to America and just start body slamming people, talking some shit." To be honest, he was a true American. That's just a perfect fucking example. That's the perfect example of why we got to loosen up a little bit as America, because the Iron Sheik was a true American. And the motherfucker was a bodyguard for fucking Muhammad Reza Pahlavi. Come on. Respect this man. What else do we have here before we got to pop off this thing for the night? I do have the trans in the military thing, but I think I'm going to have to hold that for tomorrow. But that's good because I might be able to have somebody come on that will argue against me either way, to be honest, because I could see that conversation going either way, and I think either way is worth kind of considering. So I think he took silver at the Olympics. I didn't see that, but that was just, like I said, I was just looking at Wikipedia. I did see where it said that he got gold in an AAU national championship, but I didn't see him actually take silver. Said he later became an assistant. Let's see. Now I'm kind of curious. Oh shit, the guy that he looked up to growing up, the Takhati guy or whatever the fuck, however the fuck you say this guy's name, he mysteriously was found dead in 1968. We're going to have to read a little bit more about that. Holy moly. Faziri began fearing for his safety and decided to immigrate to the United States to advance his career. In 1971, he was an AAU Greco-Roman wrestling champion at 180 pounds. He later became an assistant coach to the USA team for the 1972 Olympics Games in Munich. Wow. Okay. That's really cool. So he was actually a coach for the American team in 1972. Think about how disrespectful that is. He was a coach on the fucking Olympic team. And this is before his wrestling career, like his professional wrestling career. According to this, his professional wrestling career basically started the same year. So right as while during the day, he's spending his days being a coach for the USA team for the Olympics, he later on in the day just goes ahead and he full on represents as a fucking Iranian terrorist, kicking fucking Ricky Steamboat's ass, or really getting his ass kicked by Ricky Steamboat, probably more than likely. That is interesting, but I mean it's the character. It's the character, baby. He just had to lean into whatever it was. It's professional wrestling. They weren't ready for a fucking Persian patriot. They weren't ready for that. I mean, they weren't ready for when they took our patriot, Sergeant Slaughter, and they made him a fucking. I mean, he was with Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, he was with Iron Sheik at one point. I don't remember what the whole point of his. What was the point of Sergeant? This is gonna get me off topic. Wrestling's like this for me. This is one thing that will get me pulled out of whatever the fuck I'm working on. I start going down a fucking wrestling rabbit hole. It gets ugly. I'm reading about the career of Sergeant Slaughter, his military career. Was there one? We're about to fucking find out. So the gimmick of Sergeant Slaughter is that of a former U.S. Marine who fought in the Vietnam War. Remus himself never served in the military. This guy's fucking... Hold on. Hold on. What the fuck? Our Sergeant Slaughter was a fucking... Stolen Valor? No! He didn't even help train the Olympic team. Literally, Iron Sheik was more of an American patriot, which is fucking sickening. Holy shit. Oh my God. It just shows you how fucking backwards everything is. We had this guy yelling at Iron Sheik about being a fucking American because he was a former Marine. What? Did people not care about that back in the day? Now you can't even get a fucking discount at fucking Journeys without having a vet come up to you saying, like, where the fuck did you serve? This guy got to make his entire life's fucking, all the money that he had his entire life off fucking stolen valor. Nobody said a fucking word to him. It's wild. The gimmick of Sergeant Slaughter is that of a former U.S. Marine who fought in the Vietnam War. Even took the fucking, even claimed combat status. I wonder if he said, what if he ever said, and I got discharged. I got discharged because I got my leg blown off and numb. Show us, Sergeant. I can't. I got to wrestle in these fatigues. I can't show you. It's too gruesome. This says he received several draft deferments and even opposed the war. Oh my God, he's a fucking peacenik. Oh my God, what an amazing fucking discovery. That's fucking insane. Oh shit, we got something in. I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that's Russian or some shit. So shout out to you, Sonic 7. I might have told you last time, brother. This is an American podcast. Only in English, my boy. I respect everything you said here. You know what I mean? Even if it was disrespectful. You got to watch Deadlock podcast. So funny, but super deep cuts. Yeah, send it to me, brother. I'll have to check that out. I'm assuming it's wrestling. It's endless once you get into it, bro. The rabbit hole of wrestling is sick. Yeah, we speak American here only. Sorry, brother. I'm Sir Sharks of Slaughter. Has his G.I. Joe. Fucking insane, bro. We speak English. You already know what time it is. Well, yeah. Not the Queen's English. George Washington's English. Wow, that is incredible, though. Who would have thought, like, him not being in the military is one level, but draft deferments? The motherfucker was a draft dodger who opposed the war. He was a conscientious objector. Holy moly. Which, once again, fine and totally totally... I can respect that. However, I have a harder time respecting that if you're going to have your whole gimmick be Sergeant Slaughter. You could have been the big boss man. I don't give a fuck if the big boss man, dodged a few tours of duty. I mean, I actually do give a little bit of a fuck if big boss man did that. Just because he's just like all and out of fucking authoritarian badass. Kicking in doors, arresting whoever the fuck. They need to get him to join ICE. I'll take that over Superman all day long. Big boss man busting in your shit. Who else? Oh, Kane. He's even in fucking politics now. If somebody told me Kane was dodging the draft, I'd be like, whatever. He was Kane. Who gives a fuck? He's Big Red Machine. You don't send the Big Red Machine over to the draft until you're ready for the war to end. That's like showing off the nukes in some little like skirmish. You don't do that. You keep that shit in the tuck, and when you need to pull it out, you whip that bad boy out. Chokeslam for all the fucking commies. And even oppose the war, often protesting and demonstrating within the anti-war movement. The motherfucker was involved. Damn it. Sergeant Slaughter was a fucking communist, bro. No. I mean, look. Fuck it is what it is, I guess. That's why you can't meet your heroes or read about them on Wikipedia. This has caused controversy because at times Remus has talked about military service while seeming to be speaking as himself and not in character. He probably doesn't even know anymore. He forgot where Robert Remus starts and where Sergeant Slaughter ends. That's just a thing, man. You become him. You become the character. Remus was born in Detroit, Michigan, grew up on a farm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. At a young age, he became a fan of professional wrestling. After watching it on television with his father, he attended some fucking school. Who gives a fuck? Man was a fucking stolen valor professional. Crazy. And he rocked it out for about 25 years as that character. He really found his groove there. So crazy. Now you got to respect it. That's the ultimate troll. You know what it is? And I mean, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, I'm just gonna make this assertion without any evidence here, that I doubt he was inspiring anybody to join the military. Now I'm saying that, like I said, without any evidence, and that is an assertion, and it is maybe too general, because I mean there might be a few fucking, you know, DDs that decided to join the military because fucking Sergeant Slaughter was so cool fighting Iron Sheik. That's wild though. To think of that as a fucking recruiting tool. The military is like, we need Sergeant Slaughter to go over tonight. Recruiting's down. We need the sergeant to go over. The Cobra Clutch or whatever the fuck his move was. I bet vets that enjoyed wrestling even shook his hand. Yeah, I wonder. Like I said, bro, the poor people that hit up the mall and just decide they want to go ahead and cash in on that nice vet discount, they can't even get away with that. This guy's fucking getting on TV talking down Iranian patriots. You know what I mean? Like, this fucking Persian motherfucker was actually, he was training our boys to be wrestlers. And Sergeant Slaughter just got to fucking go over? For what? For recruitment purposes? I don't know. I wonder. His father was probably a Marine, like the dad of American Beauty. Oh my God. Could you imagine Sergeant Slaughter on Kevin Spacey's status? In reality, our fucking hero, Sergeant Slaughter, is just trying to fucking bang the 16-year-old next door? I hope not. I mean, once again, it wasn't me. It was the sergeant. The sergeant took over. Okay, brother. Still, is the sergeant fucking 45 years old? And she is a fucking 16-year-old, brother. And still not okay. Right here, just a little. I mean, this is really completely out of context, but I do find it to be fucking hilarious, so I'll play it because I pulled it.
It is ready. Sending it.
Guys, War of the Worlds. If anybody's watched it, I mean, don't watch it. I've only seen little pieces of it. It's fucking hilarious. Can you swim across an Olympic swimming pool easily? Fucking easily. Didn't the Sheik pretend to be Iraqi during the Gulf War? No, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, because he did have a heel turn where he was I couldn't remember who he was aligned with, but I think you're right. I think it was Iraq. I showed my lady this movie. Did you guys watch it? I've only seen clips, but the clips are so fucking unbelievably terrible. So it's like, and Ice Cube's acting is like, holy moly, brother, this is not your first time. But I think he was just kind of set up to fail. And this is the thing. Let's just be honest. Taking Ice Cube, who we have a vision of, we have a relationship with old Cube, and putting him in this role where he's some random fucking NASA scientist. I don't even know. I don't know because I haven't seen it, but only knows how to be Ice Cube. Yeah, I don't know, Sandor, if you've seen this, but a lot of people are just roasting it. So I wanted to play this clip just because it's one of the worst clips of any movie that I've seen, like, for promotional purposes.
Code is ready.
I thought this was okay.
Put it on a thumb drive.
I don't have a thumb drive.
What do you mean you don't have a thumb drive?
Even I have a thumb drive. Boy, this is a top secret military installation. They don't let thumb drives in the building.
Come on now, what was that? Boy, this is a top front motherfucker. What the fuck is this goddamn thing? You think I have a thumb drive?
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you.
How?
Check out this commercial. It's a Prime Air commercial. This is probably the best part. Ice Cube's acting is just fucking god awful, so it adds to it. Of course, I'm not trying to overshadow that the man doesn't know how to deliver lines, other than like in his fucking normal talking voice. I mean, is this how this character talks, you think, Cube? I'm waiting for Smokey to pop out any minute. Yeah, we wish Smokey would pop out.
Prime Air.
Prime Air.
I wish you would have hit him. They didn't have the balls to have him actually hit him with like an Amazon tagline. Next day to you, or some shit like that.
Oh, it's the future of delivery.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they for months. I need you to place an official order on Amazon to activate the drone.
Nuts.
Look at this. And then this is capitalism. This is capitalism right now. In even the shittiest movie ever made, they make sure to show you how to buy something on Amazon. And then they make sure to tell you how quick it'll get to you. Even in the end of the world, Amazon's delivering.
We only got one shot at this. Are you sure you can get it here?
Don't worry. I fly like a bird.
And look, needless to say,
Oh shit, that's Nick Fuentes. Yeah, like I said, I get recommended a lot of Nick Fuentes on fucking Twitter. They're definitely trying to radicalize me as a graper. Not gonna happen though. I'm still here chilling. I'm chilling. We're taking everything as it is. Jesus fucking Christ, LMAO. Yeah, bro, it's next level terrible. Like I said, the little tagline for the Amazon, which now I can't even remember what the fuck he said. Fast shipping next day. It's just disgusting. And then having the whole thing done from a computer screen. I did read somewhere where his son was defending and saying, "Oh, they did the movie during COVID." So there was a few COVID movies that were like that. If you guys remember, some horror movies that were all like done on a computer screen and in like live chats or Zoom call movies. But that's why you got to drop that shit during COVID with the rest of the shit movies. Not now when like people should be able to get together and actually film a movie. And then when you're doing that with a remake, by the way, War of the Worlds, which is a classic adaptation, then it's like, come on. I knew he would have spectacles too because he is smart. Yeah. Hell yeah, he's smart. I don't even have a flash drive. Why would I have a flash drive around this? You drive ass turkey? It's like, Dad, chill the fuck out, bro. I actually do have one more video because it's short that I wanted to go ahead and play. I think tomorrow we're gonna have to get into trans in military because it's gonna be too much of a debate, I think. And tomorrow I'll have the opportunity to really fully flesh that out as far as having somebody come on. So if I should preface this because I got to see what's going on tomorrow, but I will be getting back on soon. Might be Saturday. I know I say this all the time because I don't want to. Tuesday seems like so far away, so I do want to get back in here and chop it up with you guys. I enjoy it. And shout out to you, Yo Chill, for getting in here and chopping it up with me, my man. Who else do we have here? Sonic 7 was kicking it with us as well. We have Fizzy Bubblik hopped in the chat as well. I appreciate all you guys because I know I did go late as hell tonight. So you guys find the time to still hop in. I appreciate Andretti and Sean the Bond. Thank you guys for hopping in and tuning in. I hope anybody that did tune in went ahead and gave me a like, just because why the fuck not? You couldn't not like it. I mean, maybe you didn't love it, but like, come on, you didn't at least like it a little bit. I'm not doing anything to anybody. I mean, we said, sure, we played a video where Iron Sheik was talking about fucking the dead man with a bottle. You know, it happened. So Aries Spears talks about this story, the story of stuff with DJ Vlad. What do you mean by that? You need your brother with you in the foxhole and a woman to hold you after. So I'm all for the trans in the military. Yeah, I actually had a little bit. Reason I wanted to talk about this because I had a light debate with my woman because I would never debate a woman. Let's be honest. Well, I'm playing but we did have like a little discussion on it. I wanted to get her opinion on it. And where I'm more undecided, like I'm open to hearing people's arguments for it, I honestly do lean towards like I would like to hear good justification as to why we should just outright not include trans in the military. Like I just don't you know, I've tried to like bat it around aside from like a few like superficial things that I could see as like could be problems like culturally potentially, but I don't think there's good reason why to prevent that. Plus, like you said, yeah, I mean, fucking imagine if the Spartans would have had a few guys there who, I shouldn't say guys, but a few ladies there that, you know, biologically, you know, they had enough time to have some testosterone pumping through their body to where their shoulders are nice and sturdy so you can make your little fucking shield wall. But at the same time, they got a little fucking bussy. They got two bussies. So it's like that comes in handy when you're in when you're fighting the Persians and this might be the last time. This might be the last time. And let's be honest, they were fucking anyways. So it's like just loosen up a little bit. You're not the ones in the fucking foxhole. If they want to go ahead and they want to fucking, you know, have one last night being fucking held in the loving arms of their brother in arms, then who are we to fucking try to police that and say they can't also take it the next level and one of them cut their cock off and make it a make it a little bit more of a interesting experiment. Sandor said they're literally trying to delete us. Fun. You can go fight in World War III. You know what? I did think about the fact of like, people bitching about reproduction and have fun. This is Sparta. I did think about the reproductive issue. So it's like, doesn't that almost in a way, not to sound fucking absolutely cruel, because I know this is going to sound fucking insane. But I mean, if we're worried about reproduction and things like that, why not, save our boys and gals that are fucking shooting off live rounds, if you feel what I'm saying, creating life in one another. And why don't we just let the trans have at it? Go ahead, fucking get free college. If you make it back, you get free college. I don't know. I just don't see that much of a downside to it. But we did have that discussion, and she was pushing back as far as like some of the issues medically, as far as like, but I'm like, work those things out. You got to keep your pussy hole open. Then, whatever. Like, I mean, give them the medical care they need in order to do that. Give them the fucking plastic thing to shove up in their man twat. First thing coming to mind is housing. If you house them with men, it affirms their status as men and not a woman. If you house them with women, it may be something they'd accept. Yeah, I understand that. And I do. That's the first thing that comes to my mind as well, obviously, is that you're going to have some like complications as far as like how you end up, mixing people. But like I said, I just think that's an issue to solve. I think that's something that is absolutely solvable. And in instances where it's not, then I don't even know how much it's a thing to be concerned about. Like, I mean, is that more difficult to, keep it separated in a way that makes kind of like common sense when they're in like an active war zone? Probably. But at the same time, are they less worried about like those kind of things when you're in an active war zone, as far as like keeping, somebody who was biologically a man away from biological females? Like, are we as concerned about that between the sexes generally? I'm not sure, because I haven't spent any time in a fucking war zone. So thank God for that. And but I would like to know, anybody, Jay Davis, if you pop in, bro, let me know where they're fucking trans in your unit. Small issue though. Yeah. So I mean, that's what I mean. I do acknowledge that, what your point isn't like baseless or anything. I do think that, you could have problems that arise from that, but generally I think they're problems that we can end up mitigating by just adjusting to the times. And this is just the reality with any of the trans stuff. And that's even why, like, it's kind of tongue in cheek, me even talking about it tonight. I do find it to be like this specifically to be an interesting dilemma, because it's like, why wouldn't we support them fighting for their own fucking country? Like, take some responsibility or whatever for the defense of your country. And if you want to join, I don't know that I want to say, actually we won't accept you based off of the fact that you used to be a man and now you identify as a woman. I don't know, but I do, like I said, recognize some of the issues there. The poor Jill instructor gonna walk you on eggshells like a mofo. No, we gotta let that go. That's something. That's a part of it, bro. I'm sorry, you gotta let the drill instructors do what they do. Really, make them a hard person, like you were talking about earlier. Like, we don't get Iron Sheiks by walking on eggshells. And if we can get trans Iron Sheik, I'm ready for it. I think this world deserves that. Chill, an elite transgender SEAL team, 6 squad, going from continent to continent, dealing out freedom. Would be tight though. Hey, I'm saying, brother, what the fuck do we mean? 100%. Imagine how much we just assert our dominance over these other countries when all of a sudden they get and they're like, I don't even know what gender this person is that just shot our leader. We gotta surrender. Fuck it. They're fucking confusing us with their fucking sorcery. We need to write that movie, yo, chill. 100%. It needs to happen. It's time. It's time for America to heal and just come together. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, was Bin Laden shot by a trans person? I mean, that's an interesting Tarantino version of events that I wouldn't mind seeing. Real Team 6. The real story. it wasn't just history, it was her story. Welcome to their story. Yeah, I think, hey, I say fuck it, let it go. Let it go. Like I said, what is a fucking bigger sign of just fucking American freedom and just absolute opulence? It's like we're cutting our cocks off over here, you know. It's like we're cutting our cocks off over here. We're putting machine guns in our hand. Fuck it. Give me my medicine. Give me my hormones. Give me my hormones and point me in the direction of the fucking Middle East that you want me to go to. I don't give a fuck. What country? What country? They're throwing who off fucking buildings? Okay. Okay, then. Well, guess what? Fucking throw Brienne of Tarth off the fucking building. See how that works. See how that works for you. Okay. Hell no. Well, oh, actually, no, I didn't want to play this. Fuck, but I got to get off here so I can pick these fucking classes because now I'm an hour past. They don't have me in here with the fucking
in and out is fine. You don't.
So this right here, this will have to be the last video, because I do have to get off for that. So this is what I was talking about earlier, though. This is Hunter Biden, Channel 5. So that's Andrew Callahan. If you guys don't know, I recommend definitely going to check him out. He has great content over there. A lot of just like journalism as far as like on the ground documenting random events, protests, stuff like that. So just a great channel. Channel 5, go check him out. See whatever else they have to offer. They just had Hunter Biden on there recently. They had like a 3-hour long podcast. It was just a podcast basically. And you talked about a lot of interesting things. Mostly it was centered around, I guess, Hunter Biden's experience through the Biden administration, some of the lawfare that he experienced, and how cool it is to smoke crack from his perspective. That's his perspective. I can't speak on it, and I would say if between me and him, which one of us is more of a expert on the issue, I would defer to Hunter Biden. There's video evidence of his mastery of the crack pipe. So, I wouldn't suggest it, though. I wouldn't suggest it, just to be clear. This podcast doesn't support that, but that's what that podcast was about. Go subscribe, Channel 5. And this conversation right here is just kind of like a follow-up because that was really popular. So they're just, recapturing that magic and retouching on the conversation that they had previously. This is them kind of bantering a little bit, but they end up getting into AI, and I just think it's just an extremely relevant conversation to where we're at right now today. Read the book, Homosexuality and Civilization. You think it's bad now. It was disgusting back then. I'll have to read that book. And also, I guess you just have to let me know exactly what you mean by it was disgusting back then. Hunter talking badly about others succeeding from nepotism was going, oh yeah, that pissed me off, bro. I was on Twitter going in because around that time there was obviously, look, I lean liberal. Anybody that doesn't know and watch this, so I'm in a lot of those spaces as far as like lefties and stuff. So I do see these conversations, and I don't always agree. The Hunter Biden was having his fucking like cock cleaned by everybody who even remotely identifies as on the left when he was, taking to task Trump and all this and all the people that didn't support Biden. I really meant to go over the videos and react to them because they did actually piss me off a lot of for what you're talking about, because he's shitting on the Pod Save America guys, and he's like, these guys were fucking speechwriters for Obama. What the fuck do they have to say? They only have a podcast because they're a speechwriter. It's like, bro, the only reason anybody gives a fuck about anything you have to say is that your dad's Joe Biden. You're the biggest bitch nepo ever. Literally. Everything that you've done has been based off of the connection to your father. You should not ever talk about anybody being in any position for, anything that's beyond merit. Because it just like is what the fuck, like zero self-awareness on this one. Zero fucking self-awareness, bro. You're over here fucking leveraging your dad's name in other countries, for fuck's sake. At least Pod Save America guys are like, yeah, we work for fucking Obama, which, by the way, has a level of merit to it because they actually got that job, probably not on their own. In reality, if you dig into it, I'm sure there's connections there and all that kind of thing. Probably fucking nepo babies at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, less so than fucking Hunter Biden, the mascot and the fucking face of nepotism in this goddamn country, basically. And not that it's not run rampant and terrible. I'm not like accusing him of like being like representative of something that's like isolated. It's of course not, but that level of just lack of self-awareness was hysterical. And really just gross because it lets you know how much in the fucking clouds his dumbass is. Sonic is not down with the goys. With the gays. He may be down with the goys, but not with the gays. Yeah, I want to hear more as far as like what you're saying here, because I'm kind of curious. Because you think it's bad now, it was disgusting back then. I'm just like, just wondering how so. It seems like he might be with the gays, and I don't want to put words in your mouth here, Sonic. So let me know, because I'm sure if you're not, you don't want me saying that. But I'm not trying to mischaracterize you. I'm just when I'm reading this, it says read the book Homosexuality and Civilization. You think it's bad now, it was disgusting back then. So I can maybe actually no, I'm seeing what you're saying, Sandor. I'm reading it now back, and I'm like, yeah, Sonic was pissed about how much they were fucking each other back then. Reading this back. So yeah, I'm with you on that. So yeah, Sonic, go ahead and clear it up. But I think we are on the same page. I take back everything I said about this comment being pro. I thought at first I'm like disgusting back then. He must be talking about like how much they didn't accept homosexuality or whatever. But I think he's going even further back to, like Aristotle walking around with his little boy toy and shit. Sandor says Hunter worked hard for his crack. And speaking about stolen valor, he took his deleted brother's wife. Yeah, that's fucking wild too. 100%. Another thing, like that's why you can't take him serious. I'm like, please stop putting this man on a pedestal. The people online, anyways. Like I said, I don't know that any like real people that I have spoke about this in person, they all have similar opinion to me and to what you guys are saying. Where it's like, the last person that should be fucking talking about nepotism is Hunter Biden. It's hilarious to think that he's earned, and from his perspective, he must honestly feel like what you're saying, as far as like he's earned whatever position in life he has, which is like, bro, you just won the lottery of getting shot out of fucking nasty ass Biden's cock. I mean, lottery, not the lottery. That's the thin line there. Hunter, yeah, he worked hard for his crack. That's true. Yo Chill says, in the worst way too, I'm all for nepotism personally, but to fall upwards through nepotism is gay. I push back against nepotism, although I understand it. I don't think it's a good thing personally, but I do understand like one's desire to engage in nepotism from either angle, whether somebody wanting to get like a get an opportunity based off who they know, and then somebody to want to offer an opportunity to somebody based off a connection that they've developed. So I understand it, but I do think that it causes more harm than it's a benefit to our society. He would make a great Vince McMahon in the TV movie. Oh, brother, by the way, I wish you would have been here earlier because we were talking heavy wrestling, bro. You would have been epic for that conversation. So when I hop off here, if you do want to go back and check that out, and drop in the comments, I would like your opinion on some of that stuff we were talking about, Sandor. Just because there was a lot of wrestling talk, I would have loved to have chopped that up with you. Hollywood nepo babies grind my gears. Yeah, especially because it's like it's such a like glamorous kind of industry. So it's even more like you didn't earn it and you're playing pretend. It's like you kind of got, if you're gonna play pretend for a living, you gotta fucking earn that. You should. It shouldn't be like you're just born to somebody and then now your entire life gets to be you fucking play pretend and act like you're a fucking princess in movies or whatever the fuck you're acting like. Like Johnny Depp's daughter was in, what was it? Fucking Nosferatu. It's like, really, why? I don't know. I mean, I know she's played in other shit, but I mean, let's be honest, she played in those movies as well because she was Johnny Depp's daughter. I can't fully hate on that one because Nosferatu was all right.
In and out is fine. You don't tip at an In and Out.
I do.
What, you tip at an In and Out?
Yeah, they have to.
Hunter Biden strikes again. Fuck the In and Out workers. He's like disgusted by him saying that, which I am too. But as I'm disgusted as a poor, I'm disgusted as somebody who, I still have to consider tips when I go out to eat. Like, should we go out to eat tonight? Can we really afford to like comfortably tip? Hunter Biden's over here. Fucking didn't have to earn shit his entire life. He's like, you tip the fucking poors at In and Out? Fuck all that. But I agree. But at the same time, I agree with him. Nothing pisses me off more than when like my lady goes in to pick up the food from the restaurant that we went to go pick up. And then she comes back in and says, "Oh, I tipped him $2." I'm like, "Fucking why did you tip him $2?" They handed you the money they handed you the fucking food across the counter. Why the fuck did you tip him $2? Just unfair. Yo, chill. The bourgeoisie are lame as fuck in 2025. They stopped being cool like 2020. Hollywood actors that go through boot camp and talk about the perils of war grind my gears. Yeah, grind my gears more. No, that's fair. But bro, they're wearing the skin of a vet, so it's not actually stolen valor because they've encompassed that character. It's like they did go to war.
To wear those hats, you know what that feels like?
Dude, serious conversation? I met somebody that is in the owns fast food franchises.
This is a crackhead. I mean, I'm not even going to blame it on crackheads. This is just like being high. Like somebody sitting here and they're like, "You tip at In-N-Out?" Yeah, no, you don't tip at In-N-Out. Okay, yeah. So anyways, serious conversation. AI is taking over, right?
What, you tipping it In-N-Out?
Yeah, they have to wear those hats. You know what that feels like?
Dude, serious conversation? I met somebody that is in the, owns fast food franchises. His McDonald's employs 55 people.
Mm-hmm. He smoked crack with an owner of a McDonald's.
Okay. He went all AI.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
It's about a $2 million investment per McDonald's. Okay.
Nepotism, Sandor. You know what that means for fucking Joe? Walking around with that fucking hammer in his goddamn pants, doesn't know what to do with it. Now with his fucking Alzheimer's, that's a danger. Or whatever he has. I don't want to diagnose the man. You got a motherfucker that has a floor dragger on him. Next thing you know, he's fucking his ice cream cone in public on the fucking boardwalk beach. I don't know. Keep him inside. Keep Secret Service around him at all times. But yeah, we know everything about Hunter. We know the whores he's fucked. We know the crack he smoked. That's why Joe always falls. Yeah, his back can't support his giant cock anymore. He fucking stopped on his bicycle in the middle of fucking Manhattan, tipped right over. With a cock like that, you got to keep momentum going. Tipping pickup orders in fast food like Starbucks is wild. I only pick up pizza just to avoid delivery fees and tip. Yeah, 100%. Only restaurants if I eat in. Fact. No, I'm the same way. I'll tip the delivery drivers, which you're saying too. You're saying that's why you'll try avoid it. But I'm the same way, bro. That should get out of hand. Because I'm a good tipper. My mom growing up was a barber, so I remember her living off of fucking tips basically. And my girl was also, before she got into the dental industry, she was a hairstylist. So I definitely remember her coming home being like, "I made $20 in tips a day," and us being like, "Fucking thank God, that's gonna." It's gonna buy us dinner tonight or some shit. But so yeah, I'm empathetic to that and the fact that this country doesn't pay fucking anybody a livable wage. But at the same time, we're just setting a crazy standard. And I've worked in places where so like I've told you guys before, I've worked in the cannabis industry before, and it's kind of a part of the tradition that people will tip their bud tenders, which honestly, fucking why? But because I always worked in markets that were medicinal, so and specifically companies I work for were against that, so they would try to like put the kibosh on that all the time and be like, "Hey, look, tell them no tips. I'd have to do this training and shit with people about how to refuse tips politely, all this." My point being though with that is like when you're this guy and you're tipping the person at In-N-Out who is technically like not a tipped employee anyways, what ends up happening more times than not is that person ends up telling like the manager or some shit, or telling some coworker. They're like, "Hey, I got this extra money," or some shit. And they say, "Give that to me." The manager says, "Give that to me. That's going to corporate." Corporate got tipped. You don't get tipped. So just saying, whenever you're tipping the person at In-N-Out or you're tipping some random cashier and you think you're doing a nice thing and giving a poor like a little bit of an extra morsel for tonight, in a lot of cases, and also I've worked at a few other places where they had similar like no tip policies, but just the cannabis company was it was very consistent because people would be coming from other markets where it's like recreational cannabis and stuff, and their it's like customary to tip, so they would like want to, and they'd be like, oh no, take it. They'd be persistent. So yeah, that would just be my thing. Not even because they don't deserve it or anything. I'm not even necessarily saying that, although that's the funny way to paint it. In reality, the fucking corporate overlords are going to fire them if they don't if they end up seeing that they put money in their pocket or something, they don't report that, fuck around and get fired over a $3 tip. Or like I said, tell the person, and then they're like, okay, well, that's going to go in the money that we're sending to corporate at the end of the night. So thank you for that. They tipped in and out. They didn't tip you, buddy. Sandor says the only tipping we do over here is when we push fat people over. Oh, shit. So no tipping at all over there, Sandor? I've heard that before, that other cultures it's not typical. So that's interesting. And do your waiters and waitresses, do they get paid whatever the minimum wage is? Because that's another thing here. We tip, but tipped employees, it's like a workaround. They're able to get paid under the minimum wage. Ancient Greek culture celebrated same-sex love in history, literature. This was because it's not a new concept. Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'm aware that we've had homosexuals throughout history, and like ancient Greek, and like we mentioned Sparta earlier. Definitely know that there's a little bit of a fondness of boy love, even in certain places in the Middle East today. One book that I read a long time ago because my mom had recommended it to me because she had read it for school or some shit. She was in college at the time, and it's called Kite Runner, and it's kind of about this whole culture in Pakistan, I believe is what it was, and about like grown men taking boys and like mentoring them, fucking them in their ass was actually what was happening. But they teach them some shit. 15% of wizards that caught this stream. I'm not a drug dealer. I work in the cannabis industry. There you go. Exactly. Well, I mean, but genuinely, I mean, I've dabbled a bit in both, but for the most part, no drug dealing. Only on like a small level. Nothing I wouldn't be afraid to. I wouldn't be afraid to admit to that. For the most part, it's been cannabis industry in a storefront, selling to mostly old people. Believe it or not, in Florida, the number one buyers of medicinal cannabis are in the people that are in the medicinal cannabis program. It's mostly old people. 13% of wizards cast 60% of the spells, they say. That is true. That is what the word is. There is the odd tip jar, but it's really not expected. Yeah, that is interesting. And I mean, specifically from waiters and waitresses here, that is like, one time I tipped a lady and she followed me out of the restaurant. Like, basically like, what the fuck is this tip? This tip is bullshit. And then I had to tell her like, your service was actually absolutely fucking bullshit, which was true. We ended up having this like coupon. God, I can get into fucking restaurant stories all night. I'll never fucking get off here and pick these classes. Sandor, this is a question for Sandor from Yo Chill. He said, not only are tip jars everywhere here, there is a strategy to fill them halfway to make it seem like tipping is usual, adding pressure to customers. It's out of control. Interesting. Excuse me. No, but that's interesting. I hadn't necessarily thought about that. A penguin, a seahorse, a dolphin male. Dolphins have relationships. They stick their pee in other male dolphins' breathe holes. Oh, sorry, that was a bit graphic. No, man, sometimes you got to just say the truth. And we got to just expose what the dolphins are doing in our beautiful oceans. Trump's got to address that. That can't keep happening. They're out here fucking each other in their blowholes. That's dark. Here's this video from Hunter.
Okay. He only employs 5 people now.
Oh.
Okay, my bad. We paused it right at the point where it was like he's talking about completely downsizing his workforce.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He went all AI.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
It's about a $2 million investment per McDonald's. Okay. He only employs 5 people now.
Oh.
So he went from 50.
So his margins go up by like 27%. And he'll make back the $2 million investment in under like 18 months. Think about this. There's about like 13,500 McDonald's in the United States of America. I did the math. If every one of them went down to 5 from 55, lost 50, on average 50 jobs, it's 670,000 jobs in America. And that's like It's a certainty. And that's just McDonald's. You think that, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, I mean.
So funny because this is the shit that we've been like screaming about for years. And I love that it's being spoken about by this crackhead here. Yo, chill. He said I could go for a dolphin blowhole. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that shit sounds exotic. Let's see here. And pay people a living wage. If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be in business unless you're a part of the elite and can have a bailout, right, Paul? Right? Yeah, Paul loves that. He loves us fucking subsidizing fucking companies to not pay living wages. Like I said, anybody that complains about this isn't actually about Paul here, because I mean this is more people that complain about like welfare programs. It's like those are all programs that exist to subsidize the fact that we have business owners that don't pay their people living wages. There would be no need technically for mass food stamps or fucking whatever other kind of like assistant programs, if you can give people jobs and then ensure that those jobs are actually paying people a wage that makes sense. And tipping is the same thing, like literally. Like, I mean, it's not the government that's subsidizing at that point the business's inability to pay their employees. It's the customers. So you're putting the onus on the customers. That's fucking insane. So I absolutely agree with this, although I don't have an issue with the tipping kind of culture, only because of the, my understanding of the culture that we're in. But in reality, the answer, I completely agree. People should be paid a living wage. Although I've heard some waitresses probably be like, fuck that. Cause I mean, some of them make a shit ton of money, supposedly. I've never worked as a waiter. But I've only talked to like waitresses and waiters who have told me that, like secondhand, that they, make good money. So, in a lot of cases that I've also obviously talked to waitresses and waiters where they're like, hey, we're not especially like here, I live in an area where it's very, we have like a lot of tourism during the fall months. But then we end up getting business shrinks considerably after all those tourists go home. So, you hear a big difference between how waiters and waitresses in this area are talking when we're in like the heat of, season, and then once we get out of season, then all of a sudden their business is cutting them back to like 3 days a week or whatever. It gets tough paying the bills at that point. So I love it when MAGA goes about food stamps and then they get told about the full-time workers that have to live on them. Well, get a better job. Yeah, and they're even taking, bro, those jobs are going to be gone too. And I know, Sandor, I know you agree with me. We've talked about, the shrinking leverage of, the workforce, and that kind of dynamic is already super out of whack. I've talked to jobs. I don't know how much you guys know about car dealerships, but a couple of years ago, I talked to this guy that worked at a car dealership, and he was, talking to me about potentially getting a job. Those people have to pay to work there. And this is customary in the industry. I talked to a used car dealership manager as well at another point. He told me the exact same thing. So that's when I kind of like put the two together. But it's a situation, if you don't, basically you get paid like at the time, it was like $450 a week. And that's like guaranteed outside of your commission, but it's something that you're borrowing against. So if you don't make the money to pay for that, then you will be going in the hole to your employer. And then as you make commission checks, they'll be taking their money. So there's no risk for the employer in that scenario, with at least no risk as it pertains to the people they're employing. And I'm sorry, like if I'm all like, as much of a fucking like socialist as I get on here and shit, I started arguing about people like deserving to like own a fair share of their work. And I think most people that share my kind of like points of view here, as far as like wanting to maintain some kind of like democratic socialist identity as a country, that people still want owners to be able to benefit from the risks that they're taking as from being an owner. Like that's what gets construed and kind of, people that are, staunch capitalists, they use that as like this kind of thing to scare people away from the idea. Like, oh, you think that people that are owners shouldn't, make more money? Like nobody's fucking saying that. Sure, if you're the owner as an individual, you will make more money, but it's crazy to think that there should just be this expectation of just infinite growth and infinite exponential growth in a lot of cases. I mean, a lot of these companies, they want to see like 20% year over year increases. And I've worked in like executive management jobs and stuff like that, where there's this kind of conversation about like 5% payroll goals. And like I said, this is before the fucking AI really has taken hold. So these conversations are already happening before AI has taken hold, before it's become really prominent, extremely accessible, and it's only going to become cheaper for that to be an option for you. So even previous to that, these companies are like, we need to run it at as slim as possible. Like I said, 5% is a common one I've heard. 5 to 12%, I would say, in like the jobs that I've worked where I've managed people. That's what most of the companies that I've worked for have seen as their goal, is 5 to 12% being wrapped up in payroll. And honestly, the specific scenario that I'm thinking about, one was like 12%, and then it went down to 5% to then make room for the year over year profits. Because, another thing is with these kind of like, I don't know, like startups, you end up having things where they want to really make their business look more healthy than what it is, so they can hurry up and turn around and sell it. So unfortunately, people end up becoming pawns in that game. And, all of a sudden you have people that are expecting their full-time employees or whatever. And I've experienced this many times where you have full-time employees, and then, executive leadership ends up saying like, hey, you need to cut those people's, or you need to cut your hours in store by like 60 hours, over 100, craziest shit. I mean, literally, I can get into it. Fucking crazy. I think theoretically tipping is a decent idea, but practically it's energy saver. Oh my shit, this lighthouse about to die. I think theoretically tipping is a decent idea, but practically it doesn't work with human greed. How is that legal? I don't know what you're referring to exactly, because we were talking about a lot, but America, the land of the free from the financial stability. Free from financial stability. Got you. America, the land of the free of healthcare. America, the land of the free from thought. Get your shit together, America. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm a fucking loser. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, there's a lot, but I mean, like I said, I think there's a generation of people that are closer to one another. I think when you talk about like our people who were like my parents or grandparents, people who were politically activated in a way, I think and I still think they're polarized. But back then it was like kind of like, I think, stupidly polarized, and this is still the case. I keep on saying this shit and I'm like, well, that applies today. But I do think that you have people that, like, for example, that are conservative. I've talked about this before, but where, they identify as conservative, kind of generally they support that party. But like, if you really get into the weeds on like, well, do you think of healthcare as something that should be afforded to all people in a fucking civilized society? In my experience, and I've debated at least 5 Republicans like on stream about this, and then in my personal life, fucking countless, but like on stream. So when people are the most dug in their ideas, because there's an audience, so that's something that I feel like I've been able to find headway on. And college is another thing that's a little bit more of a touchy subject, but what I think it should be, honestly. I mean, I think healthcare ranks above college as far as like if we're talking about things that people should be owed from just being a citizen of the country. I think being able to seek healthcare and that be available to them is, just what it is. And any amount of, like, oh, do you want the fucking loser who doesn't have a job to be able to go and get healthcare for free? Yeah, honestly, call me a fucking bleeding heart, honestly. But I don't think that I don't think whether or not you're necessarily contributing to society should be the determining factor whether or not you get healthcare in a country that is the most wealthy country in the world. That just makes sense to me. And like, it's just like a common sense fucking take, to be honest with you, from my perspective. And I do think like another thing to point out when people are making their entire argument based off these like fringe examples, because let's also be honest, most people I know, whether or not they, don't make enough money, so they end up on Medicaid, or whether they have insurance through their job, whatever the situation may be, most people I know are working their ass off. Most people I know barely have any time for themselves. Most people I know, like, their life is at least 50% work, and then 50%, whatever, their home life, which, we know that's just not a healthy balance. So, but people accept that. That's my point. So to point the finger at the poors when, the country is being like held on the back of these people that, work disproportionately hard jobs for less benefit. And I mean, like I said, there's a lot of reasons as to why that is. And I mean, some of those could fall on the lap of those individuals, but a lot of them are absolutely circumstantial. We were talking about nepotism earlier. A lot of times, my dad was an air conditioning man. The only job that I've ever had, like outright, just like offered to me based off of no effort, just like, hey, if you want a job here, there's a job here for you. It was air conditioning man. If I wanted to have a job, if I needed a job quickly based off like my limited amount of community connections, that's where I would go. That's the nepotism thing. So when like you blame these people, some people don't even have that connection. Some people it's like, hey, mom is working at fucking Burger King. I've seen it. I went into Burger King and seen the mom-daughter combos, and they were making a combo. And between the two of them, they had a combo of teeth equaling 2. Healthcare and social safety nets and the people against them are purely brainwashed. I really have a hard time believing these types actually think for themselves, and I agree with you on that. But even so, I'll even like add on to that a bit as far as like, I do think it's brainwashed. And I think the sick part of the brainwashing is they have convinced you to argue against your own self-interest. So like I've argued with people who are Trumpers that I know like need desperately healthcare. Just yeah, like we argued on this. Just like I said, for me, it's like such a obvious kind of like fundamental right, like in this country, that you should not have a situation where, people are going into medical debt. That's the number one cause of debt in our country is medical debt. So it's like, so die. I don't know. Like it's just that shouldn't be the choice. That shouldn't be the choice in this country. I've seen too many anti-social safety nets types. Definitely, I would love to have some come in here because, like I said, we had some good debates back in the day with some people that were like fucking. Like I said, healthcare was a big one back then. But I mean, I'm a big believer in making education accessible to people. So I mean, that's one that I've also had. But I'd love to have somebody come back on that's a healthcare denier. Hey, and Yo Chill, I'm gonna have to get you locked in with us, brother. You've been locking in all night, been rocking with us. I gotta get you that wrench by your name. I know you got some shit to add. I've seen too many, so that I read already. If the government had free health care, how would you feel about mandating lifestyle or dietary choices to access the health care? That's a good question. Let me just get these, and then I will come back to that because that is a good question. Sandor said, at Yo Chill, why are you paying taxes? And then this was Yo Chill at Sandor. For the most part, roads, schools, military protection. So actually, to go back to your point here, so that's interesting. I guess you'd have to let me know like exactly what kind of things you are talking about mandating. So I mean, as far as like, are you saying like if people don't follow a certain kind of like dietary regimen, then you're not going to offer them healthcare or things like that? Which I mean, to be completely fair, we have those kind of restraints today. So I mean, it would have to be a situation where it makes sense. I wouldn't say that people should like not be offered or shouldn't be honored their health care that they have through the state because of some kind of like dietary expectation. But I like, for example, today in our current system, the private system primarily, where you have people that need like weight loss surgery, for example, and they'll make them lose a certain amount of weight before they do the surgery because just either to prove to the doctor that you're going to be able to, continue to keep the weight off, or just to so you're not putting too much weight on whatever kind of like, if you're getting like knee surgery or something, for an example. So I think those kind of things already exist. There are expectations. Now, I mean, like I said, if you're saying like, okay, you completely can't get some kind of like treatment based off of that, I think I would have to get some like compelling examples to really envision that. Let's see here. And then you don't think your taxes could cover healthcare too. Many studies have shown free healthcare is actually cheaper. And I have seen that, and a lot of that having to do with people addressing things at the point where they're not needing like severe treatment. So just people being more willing to get like, things looked at that haven't progressed to the point to where there's, you need some kind of treatment that's going to put you in fucking bankruptcy. And then on top of that, our government already, and I guess this is also to Sandor's point, our government does already spend a lot of money on healthcare. So it's like whenever we're talking about the cost of healthcare, we have to be mindful that it's not just like 100% you're adding this on to the already existing budget, because there's already a part of the budget that addresses this. So that part of the budget kind of gets, it gets ate by this new budget that's going to be the whatever kind of like universal healthcare system that we would be implementing in the long run. Okay, so that's what I was talking about as far as like treating conditions before they become too severe. I hate to shut this down, guys, because this is a good conversation and I do feel like it's heating up, but like I said, you guys know I got to get off here so I could fucking join these classes. Crazy. But this is a great conversation. I literally, it breaks my heart to even cut this off because you guys are really cooking right now. So Yo Chill said, well, not me necessarily, but I always am skeptical of the government. And I am too, to be honest. I am too, as much as I think. See, the thing is, we talked about this, I think, last podcast. I totally relate to people. Those conversations that I talked about previously with the conservatives, we almost have to always get past that argument, which is a fair one. Which is when you talk about doing healthcare, you talk about free college or whatever. People are always like, okay, that involves giving the government more money. And have we ever trusted how the government spends our money? And I think that there's a fair argument to be made there. But I mean, that's like kind of like the trans issue where it's like you're bringing up an issue to say, let's not even explore what could be a possible solution. Like if this solution brings up other unforeseen or foreseen problems, that's totally fair. And I think we should anticipate that. But at the end of the day, I think they're solvable. And if they make the system better, I think it is. If you ever had anybody who, hasn't been able to get care, I don't even want to say her name because, other people that watch this might know her, and even though it's not anything bad about her, but there's a girl in our community, and I worked with her, and she ended up she died from cancer. She was in her 20s. And she died from cancer because she moved while she was receiving treatment. So before she was able to, basically, what would that be called when you get to a new state and like set up coverage in your new state, whatever the fuck that's called, when you basically let that state know, like, hey, I'm a resident of this state now. I don't remember what the fuck that's called, but either way, before she was able to get care in this new state, she literally died of cancer. So to think that something like that, a person could have continuously received care and possibly not died. She had a little child. It's like, and I know this is anecdotal, but these kind of things happen. And this is a anecdotal experience that does speak to somebody that if she was given health care federally by the country, then when she moved to Virginia from Florida, that hardly becomes as big of an issue as it ended up being for her, where she literally lost her life. Rest in peace to her, though. She was a good lady. Well, not me necessarily. I'm sorry, I just stopped reading this midway because I started responding to it, so my fault. But I always am skeptical of the government, and I agree with that, and I think that's fair. But once again, like I said, we got to address that, and our government has to get better. And I know that doesn't happen overnight, so I know like it could be unrealistic if you're taking my statement as just fuck it, we got to be better, blah 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 blah, move on. I'm not. I'm saying like, people like you or I, or people that we just think that are going to be, that would be in the government and be able to make decisions based off of true like ethics and morality, and not based off of like whatever kind of allegiance I have to the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, I think that's where we need to get. But the situation to which they have the power to control over healthcare, they could misuse that power, and that is true. And I think that's the case with any power that you end up giving the government. And you have to have like bumpers up in order to prevent that. And but a lot of what our system that currently exists, you see right now, even with, I think Trump has been able to abuse his power to a disgusting extent. But we have had a few instances where, sort of our judicial wing has tried to hold him in check to a certain degree. Now, how much that has been effective, I think you could argue that it hasn't been nearly effective enough. So, that's another conversation and maybe part of the fear of what you're saying. Sandor says, yo, chill. So, you do realize it would still be a doctor you would see, not a government bureaucrat. I do think he understands. I think he's just saying, though, if the doctors are beholden to the government and the government's having some kind of like I said, some kind of standard that citizens have to meet in order to be allowed to have healthcare. Let me know if I'm kind of like misrepresenting that. Yo, chill. I'm just trying to kind of, mediate that. But Goebbels was a doctor, though. Know what I mean? It was fair. That's true. He was a doctor, I guess. Goebbels, LMFAO, America. How embarrassing. Americans say no to free healthcare, but start GoFundMe when mom gets cancer. LOL. The irony. Such Christian, so free. Sandor says the power and misuse doesn't hold up if you're happy. Yeah, if you're happy for your government to have a military. And I think, like, for example, you probably would have. I wonder how you, yo, chill. How do you feel about like our government, our military bases, like across the fucking globe, like hundreds more than the second biggest country with, global military. So I'm curious, like things like that. I don't know. I just think if we really focus in, and this is where like shout out to Wiggy as far as like when he really gets into his like nationalist shit. It's like if we really did focus a lot of those. A lot of that capital that we have going outside of the country. I mean, think of the billions of dollars we give to Israel, for example. I said we weren't going to mention them all podcast, but I'm going to get off here soon. So fuck it. We'll just go there. Like $3 billion a year going there. How much of a dent are we making in healthcare with just that? That's why the Second Amendment is important. Without it, I'd agree. And then Sandor says, what is your AR-15 going to do against an F-35? Or against fucking AIDS. Must be enough if the government wants to take them so badly. Fair enough. No, chill. What is your AR-15 going to do against the tank? And then he says, and then Sandor says brainwashed. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, I do think that there's something to that, Sandor. I wouldn't completely discount it because it's like if you do have a shit ton of people taking to the streets with rifles, it could get a little crazy. Like even when you consider, I don't even think you need that. If I'm being honest, I think when you see how our government responded to like Black Lives Matter protests, January 6th. So, a large group of people, regardless if they have rifles or not, can put a pretty huge strain on the government. And, I think strike the fear. I think that's, once again, we talk about it all the time, Sandor, as far as organization is our biggest hurdle as people, because if we're actually able to organize and get on the same page, regardless of AR-15s, in my opinion, you really can get some shit done here. But it's like the attention span of the people and the desire to actually do that. And then also on top of that, I think a certain level of like apathy that sets in when people feel like they're going up against the government that has no desire to hear their voices or change, and they just don't feel any significant change in their lifetime with like I said, one of my big issues with the Democrats is this kind of like super incremental weird Diet Coke conservatives kind of posturing that they had through this or rhetoric that they were spewing really through this last election, where they were basically they're basically LARPing not LARPing because they actually are, but yeah, I mean, they're put to the forefront. Hey, we're fucking war hawks. Like, don't worry about us, guys. They were signaling to that base, like, hey, guys, we're gonna keep all this shit going. So it's like that status quo. I think if we're able to organize and demand something different than that, and then actually put that in place, I think a lot of things can change without even taking to the streets. But sometimes as far as getting that message out and having it be heard, there's something to be said for violent protests. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it fucking 100%. Do violent protests. And I don't even think, like I said, once again, do you have to kill people? I don't necessarily think so. But I mean, once you see, a certain amount of property damage and things like that, there's a desire correctly for the state to stop the bleeding. I mean, it's once again, we are running on a capitalist society. It's like every day that downtown Minneapolis is closed because of riots is fucking money, is days that the downtown and that city is just hemorrhaging money. So that's always how I think you get things done and you impact. And I think that's when you see that they're at their most vulnerable, even with the Epstein shit. Like the Epstein shit, we talked about it, legitimately had Trump shook, like to where he was like, we remember, like, don't talk about that, voice cracking and shit behind the desk. Usually don't see that bravado really shaken to that extent from Trump. But once there's some kind of issue that really galvanizes people to where they can actually spend more than 2 seconds with like as far as of their attention on it, and the Epstein thing kind of did that. Fucking kitchen gets hot real fucking quick. But I understand your point. You're too divided with too many bootlickers. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Militia required leadership would never happen. I agree with that. I mean, so like I said, I get what you're saying, and I do think the us being divided is huge. I do think that there's causes though for us to gather around on that really pierce the whole like partisan kind of mindset. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than that, but I mean, I agree with you, bro. I talk to people all the time that will excuse shit that even we see today. Like I said, like for me, like the alligator Alcatraz shit is absolutely fucking disgusting. That's in the state I live in. Those are tax dollars that I fucking paid. And to think that, there's going to be people in this state that are going to be fucking booted off Medicaid. Absolutely. No doubt. And yeah, I mean, so it's a sad thing. I think, just like I said, that's a great example of it, because I think it's just something where you look at it, and from my perspective, it's a humanitarian crisis, no question, and people will excuse that. Some things are a little bit more like, I mean, like I said, I get the deportations to it. I think those are debatable. I get it. Like when Wiggy gets on here and he says like, "Hey, bro, it just had to happen. I live in Texas," and he calls it like the big wave and shit. I'm willing to hear that out. I understand why people are fearful of like their way of life being taken and their country being taken over and not feeling like the country they grew up in. Once those planes started flying, you'd all go home. Well, I mean, that's true. Listen, but the thing is, Sandor, the kind of the benefit there is, and I'm not, they very well may do it, but once the planes start flying, I mean, are they gonna bomb fucking New York City like it's Raccoon City, bro? I don't know. There'd be too much of a loss there for them to turn those weapons on their own people. Although like I said, it absolutely could happen. But I do have to say, like, as far as like, there's that kind of like benefit, as far as like an enemy within gets that kind of leeway to where if you're waging war in the streets of DC, I don't know if it's as simple as, send the planes out to scare people. And plus you have to also think, Sandor, like some of those bootlickers, so the bootlickers, if you can break like them from that spell that they're under, they're fucking retarded, bro. they're fucking retarded. I don't know. I mean, when you mention tanks, there's some Americans, I'm not sure if they are going to be wavered by tanks. They might just go ahead and pull a Tiananmen Square and say, blow me up. Seriously, we got some fucking class A retards here, brother. Oh, excuse me. I'm just glad we all agree the government is capable of these things and we should be skeptical. I definitely think that skepticism of the government is fair. But we're I guess my problem with it is like, you're kind of like almost being so skeptical to the point to where you're letting them off the hook. You know what I mean? That's just my kind of point of view on it, where it's like, I'm skeptical, but where I'm skeptical, I expect more. So it's like, we got to break through that, rather than like, I'm skeptical, therefore I'm going to let you off the hook. You guys continue to engage in, bailing out the biggest businesses in the country, or giving these fucking like giant government contracts to your buddies and all this kind of shit. So do this kind of like weird crony capitalism thing, and they're kind of relying on the weight that this whole like, well, let's not ask the government to do anything because they fuck us over anyways. But it's like, they're gonna fuck us over anyways. So whether they do nothing or they provide us with healthcare, I agree that I'm sure there'll be some downsides to it that we're not considering. Like one thing with like universal healthcare systems, I've heard, as far as like people having to wait for treatment on things that are like more like not serious. So I mean, like shit like that, I think could be an issue. But that's where I'm at, though. I'm not for status quo. Just want a good plan, not just free healthcare, and the like. I get that, and I think that's fair. I mean, I think we all want there to be some kind of like direction and plan though for it. It's just some of us, I think that that's just something that needs to happen as a human right. And it's not like when we say there's not a plan, you know what I mean, good plan or whatever. Only reason I'd really push back against that is because like there's plenty of other countries that already offer this to their citizens. So it's like, this isn't even like, we're not even doing something that's new and on the cutting edge. We're late to the party in reality. Your tyrannical government won't let you talk bad about the WNBA. And you guys are worried about them running healthcare too much. Yeah, well, that's fair enough, brother. And maybe we can put it in the WNBA's hands. Maybe they'll get us healthcare. We just gotta, I don't know, something we gotta talk about with WNBA. I can't get to it tonight because I gotta get to these fucking classes. Now I'm 2 hours behind. This is how it happens. I told you earlier, yo, chill, bro. I told you, I was like, I'll end up on this motherfucker for 5 hours just kicking it, doing the filibuster. I'm not even filibustering anybody. I just end up fucking chatting. Not with the level of immigration and population. Of course, homogenous countries will be on the same page. Well, I mean, I would argue that, like, for example, like people who are immigrants, if they're illegal immigrants, they're not gonna get health care, and also we're way richer than these other countries. So it's like where it would be something that you would have to scale. I definitely think just because we're a bigger country, which is a challenge, so you're not wrong on as far as like population is bigger, so there's a challenge there. We also have more money. We have bigger, more developed industry, specifically that industry. So of course, okay, so yeah, I'm with you on that. And then the WNBA has free healthcare. Yeah, the WNBA, aka the Small Hats, they do have free healthcare, and they're continuing to be given like $3 billion a year just annually for fucking what. And then another thing with the WNBA boys, and like I said, we said we weren't going to talk about, but this I really did want to talk about, because just today, and I probably, whenever I get back on the stream again, I'll probably really react to this in full. But you had Bibi Netanyahu just came out today saying that their plan is 100% to stay in Gaza and occupy. So not only the West Bank now, not only are they in Gaza right now, but they're not planning on leaving Gaza. And that's straight up what they're saying. Yo, chill. It's not your fault, bro. You've been on the Kool-Aid tit since birth. Well, it's true. We all, I mean, to be fair, if you're an American, you do grow up in a culture where it's like, basically, you expect the government to do something for you. Fucking do that shit for yourself. Fucking get a job. Get a job. Pay for your own fucking root canal. Or let your fucking teeth rot out. Either way, get a job. Americans think they're the only country with millions of people and illegal immigrants. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I do get the challenge there. But I mean, I don't think that's something, once again, that's not not something that's surmountable. Especially when it's the difference between, like, it's not something that would prevent me from offering healthcare to the people. Like I said before, and Paul took this, so I know he liked it, but we should expect more from our government in this country. And I think in most countries, the idea should be that the government is made up of its citizens, and it should serve its citizens, should be representative of what the citizenship really wants and desires. And I think this is more popular than it's not. Even Yo Chill, and I'd be like, I'd like to talk to you about this a little bit more, obviously, brother. But even Americans, like I said, that are like kind of generally uneasy about the idea, they're willing to figure it out. Like, I mean, even if they're not willing to figure it out directly, they're like, show me how this makes sense. So I think we'll see it. All ad hominems don't win debates. It's true. Being mean doesn't fucking win a debate, Sandor. And if your mom fucking had Kool-Aid tits, then you'd be sucking on them too, buddy. Here in America, we do that. Our moms tits have sugar water in them. Who has a population and immigration like U.S.? I'd like names. The richest country in the world that can't pass a DOD audit is worried about wasted tax dollars. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. I mean, billions of dollars of wasted money as far as military. The Pentagon hasn't passed the audit for, I don't know if ever. I know at least 20 some years. So it is interesting. We definitely do end up leaving a lot of the money's on the floor. You feel what I'm saying? But you do make, like I said, as far as that goes, chill. Like I said, that is a fair point as far as like, let's see, largest company. Here I go. I'm talking like an American. Largest country with universal health care. But I will say, regardless, like I said, I just don't think that this is like an issue that you can't figure out just because you have a large population or no other population has. So the largest, oh shit. I don't know if this is true, bro. This might be fake news, but it says the largest country with universal health care is China. It covers a population of 1.4 billion. Other countries with universal health care include Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, France, Germany, Sweden, Israel, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and Singapore. So yeah, I mean, and like I said, that's something where as far as you can scale it up, and I mean, we do have models as far as like economists have worked out models for us how we could pursue this as policy. The plan then would be taking from military fund. Then I mean, I definitely, well, one, not even that. We have to think like as far as in the military fund, money's fucking disappearing. So like only if we took the money that we can't account for, even if we took away from the black budget, you feel what I'm saying? But I think, yeah, I also think, yes, you could take away from the military budget. And then take what from the military budget? You can't find anything. That's funny. And then, so just every Western world country and even the bad guys. Yeah, even the bad guys, even fucking China. Even China offering their people fucking free healthcare. What happened? How did we lose? And it's true as far as like Canada, United Kingdom. I mean, like I said, do you honestly think that we couldn't scale this up if all these other countries are able to provide it? And then when we're talking about scaling it up, it's not as if we're like just it's not like we're a huge country that's poor. You know what I mean? Like, so, we're a big country who I think, yeah, we just decide to invest our money in other places, which me personally, I think as far as like the defense budget could be slashed for a lot of reasons. I think a lot of the reasons should be like this global kind of empire idea needs to be dialed back, and there just needs to be more of a focus on just taking care of domestic issues, which I think a lot of Americans agree with. A lot of Americans, when we're talking about like USA aid, a lot of like the pushback against that was like, hey, we're fucked in America. And for a long, I remember my dad saying this back in the day, like, before we go here, we need to take care of Americans. So I mean, this is the perfect example. What's the most basic kind of way of taking care of your people other than, providing them healthcare? Western, you mean homogenous? Well, I mean, you wouldn't say UK is homogenous. You probably wouldn't say Canada's you definitely wouldn't say Canada's homogenous. You probably wouldn't say France is homogenous. You let me know. Maybe you would define these countries as homogenous in your opinion, but definitely not the United Kingdom and Canada. And like I said, I don't think France either. But if from your perspective you would, let me know. Australia, so China, I guess you could say, but I mean, still, I mean, if it's homogenous, what really difference does that make? I mean, as far as like, I understand how it could make it easier. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo the point at all. I'm just saying, like, if the population is similar or, in the same ballpark, then what does it really matter if the people, are the same ethnically? In the Sandors, aside from like people's values and people like in this country maybe pushing against it because some people in this country, their values are opposed to that, but I don't think that has to do necessarily with homogeny as much as UK isn't homogenous, Canada isn't. I don't know. Let me look this up. If we would consider it. Let's check it out. Is UK homogenous? I enjoy the conversation so much, brothers, but I do have to get out of here because like I said, I'm not going to have any classes, but I'm just enjoying the conversation so much. This says, no, the UK is not a homogenous society. While the white British ethnic group is the largest, the UK is ethnically diverse with significant populations from various backgrounds. Immigration from Commonwealth countries and elsewhere has contributed to a multicultural society with mixed cultures, religions, and ethnicities. Ethnic diversity. The UK's population is composed of various ethnic groups, including white British, the largest group, Asian British, and Black British. Multiculturalism. The UK has a history of migration with people from different parts of the world settling there and bringing their cultures, traditions, and languages. And let's check out Canada. And I'm not on the screen, so if there's any pushback, I'm not seeing it yet, but I will read your response when I get back to that. It also says, no, Canada is not a homogenous country, and it's basically giving you the same rundown. It's saying it is known for its significant culture and ethnic diversity stemming from a long history of immigration and multiculturalism policies. Canada's population includes people from diverse backgrounds, including the founding British and French populations, indigenous people, and numerous immigrant groups from around the world. Just think about how Drake talks, bro. You don't talk like that in a homogenous place. Where'd that Toronto accent come from? Tings. No, all the Western governments are overrun with immigrants and white genociders. I think that is another thing. Even like Sweden, which I think you probably would, I would agree with you initially. I would have to like recheck that because I know they're having kind of like a immigrant crisis there as well. So I would have to double back and check that, because coming into this conversation, that would have been one of them that I would have actually sided with you on as more of a homogenous culture. Exactly. Values. Yeah. Fair. You Americans are funny. The brainwashing is so strong. It's not your fault. Yo, chill. The brainwashing everywhere though. We all got brainwashed some way or another. And Sandor says here, I'll show you a bit of attention. Are you hungry? Is your ego fed yet? There you go. You added them. You guys were getting along so good at the beginning. And then Google says no to UK. And he says, not your fault, bro. Same with Canada. And are you saying that you agree with what I just read, I think is what you're saying there? Yo, chill. I was joking about the being overrun and genocider. Here, let's actually get back to this Hunter video. This is a good conversation though, guys. Yo, chill, try not to take it too personal. Sandor is just a New Zealander, so they and he's also a fucking South African New Zealander, so it's a deadly combination. He can't help it. But you guys really have been having a really interesting conversation, so I do appreciate the back and forth, because as much as I don't necessarily agree with you on this specific thing, Yo, chill, I think that you make some interesting points, and I think they're fair to be considered. And I do think that a lot of them are some of the concerns that anybody that's gonna be skeptical around something like universal healthcare, like anybody that, at least in good faith, if you're going to actually engage with it rather than just be like, fucking just do it yourself, you're at least thinking about it and contending with what you think would actually be harmful from it. So I fuck with it. Yeah, it says not homogenized, so I sit mistaken. Okay, yeah, I feel that. And I think you probably that's something that's I think has changed over the last few years. To Sandor's point, he is right, like as far as certain levels of destabilizing the Middle East has caused those areas to take in more refugees and things like that, cause them to be a little bit less homogenous, but at the same time, so just a funny thing, by the way, as far as like homogeny in the UK, I think the UK, this doesn't mean anything, but it's just funny because we're talking about it. But I think the UK's like national dish is tikka masala. So I don't know if you guys fuck with Indian food at all, but tikka masala. No, he's a retard, to be honest. But I'm here for you, so not my problem. Hey, I feel it. I can't say retard because I fuck with my guy as well, but I totally get it. I totally get that it's a contentious conversation, and he did say that you were fucking sucking on your mom's Kool-Aid tit. So I mean, if you want to call him a retard back, I think that's fair game. If I'm a retard, what does that say about poo liquor like you? Jesus, Sandor, come on, brother. Like, we're intellectually batting back and forth our ideas, you know. Not everybody has to agree. Here's this Hunter video. Let's go ahead and crack this thing out, and I'll get back to your guys' comments if you have anything else that you say. But we'll go ahead and finish this so I can
across the board.
You're
talking
those
like probably 3.5 million jobs in the fast food industry alone that will AI with easily within the next 5 years, if not 3 years. So I've flipped my thinking about this whole AI thing. You're either a massive extinction event, or it's going to be really good with a rough patch in the middle. Because if between
maybe it'll be an extinction that like has a little bit of a rough patch in the middle, but actually ends up being sweet.
Computing power, which we're there already, okay, like quantum computer, and deploying AI is like, how is it that we don't figure out the commercialization of nuclear fusion within the next like 5 years? And if we do that, a limitless source of power without any carbon emission or waste at all, like that could solve like, I mean, like, you know, we just saved the earth basically.
Yeah, but all the people starved to death. We just saved the earth. We made fucking sick ass computers. They just go ahead and do whatever the fuck they want with it, I guess, because we're all dead. But hey, either way, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Much love. This was fun. Honestly, we had a great conversation, as much as it got a little contentious there at the end. Well, I mean, throughout, really. I mean, Sandor, you did kind of ratchet up the insults, I will say, but I understand that you're passionate about the issue, and I agree with you as far as like this issue specifically. I definitely agree with you, and I think you know, it is something that I'd like to see us figure out over here in America. But I also respect Yo Chill's kind of his perspective that he's coming from, and I appreciate it. And we did end up we got to go down an interesting road of like specifically, you know, what countries are homogenous at this time and all that. So that was interesting. When I said that, I had assumed that I was correct on that, but I mean, I wasn't 100% sure. So it was good to look it up and go through that with you guys. I was telling you before, AI is a bit scary. I don't think we are close to doomsday or anything. But I don't like the idea of the what the fuck is like my fucking it's very okay, there we go. All right, so I definitely don't like the idea of it down the road. Just really fuzzy right there at the my eyes are fucked, dude. I need to get a new prescription, seriously. Yeah, I agree with that, bro. I mean, I think that we're closer to doomsday than what I would take from your comment there. I think I kind of agree with Hunter as far as like a lot of what would be considered low skill jobs. I hate that terminology, honestly, but those kind of jobs, I think that, you know, we will see them rapidly disappear. And I even think it's happening now. I mean, he used an example there, but I think it's already happening. I think we're slowly, you know, because they don't want to shock us necessarily, because people would be more freaked out about it. So I think they're going to slowly, you know, turn these fast food restaurants into fucking ghost towns where you have, you know, 3 workers there. And I think slowly you'll see that with more jobs. I mean, racetrack, for example, I went into a racetrack the other day and there was one person working there. They had a checkout machine up front. I tried to wait on them. I'm like, you want to check me out? I think you probably want, because I fucking trust me that the people that are in the executive leadership, your fucking board, and then everybody below that as far to area manager, they're all looking at those kind of key performance metrics. And I guarantee that they're looking like, how many people did self-checkout today? And then it just becomes, you know, a situation where that actual human labor is less and less of a necessity. So I think we're there. Hey, brother, I appreciate you. Hopefully I get some good ones. That's what I'm worried about. I waited till today because all the people with their that had their financial aid fucked up, they're going to get kicked out of their classes today. So there'll be some ones that I wasn't, that weren't available to me earlier that will be available now. So I got to get back in there. The lady up at the office said like, hey, at 2:00 is the best time. Trust me. So we'll see. Sandor said, all I said was the Kool-Aid tit. He started the ad hominem. Well, I mean, I think he just said that you were using ad hominems. I don't know if he was really he did call you retarded eventually, but I think he was slow to go to insults. We'll have to check the comments. But Sandor, I just want to be fair, brother. I think you might have ratcheted up the insults first, to be fair. It always happens. The absurdity and hypocrisy of America is pointed out. It's not his fault. Let me know when you want to watch some old ECW TNA shit. Oh, bro, for sure. That can definitely happen. You're talking about on stream? Are you talking about watching it like live on stream or he is retarded? Hey man, we love Sandor. Once again, just like I can't say my man Yo Chill is retarded because I don't think that. I can't say my man Sandor is a retard either. I think both you guys are intelligent gentlemen who disagree on this one. Oh, we could do that? Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, if that's what you're talking about. Either way. I didn't know if that's what you meant or not, but I definitely get down with that. I told you before, TNA underappreciated, bro. At the time, I remember watching TNA live on Spike, and although I did watch it and I did love AJ Styles, that was my fucking guy. I liked Abyss, Christopher Daniels. There's a few of them. Chris Sabin, I think, also at that time. I think if I'm remembering right. But no, they had some legends up in there, but all the guys that came from WWE, I think, I'll speak for myself. I thought of as like just old ass motherfuckers. But then now WWE basically does the same thing. They have Goldberg come back and face Gunther for the belt. What the fuck is that about? We're supposed to just buy it that Goldberg's that fucking Gunther's afraid of Goldberg. Give me a break, bro. It's fucking 60 years old. And so yeah, I wish looking back during the TNA time, especially with like Kurt Angle, I fucked with Kurt Angle a little bit, but I still kind of, looked at him during that time of his career as he was kind of a fucking has-been washed up loser. And then, yeah, when I kind of look back on it now, though, I look at it more fondly than I did actually in the moment. So Sting, another one. Sting was in fucking TNA, and then you're thinking of him as a total fucking bum, washed up fucking has-been. And then several years later, he ends up popping up in the WWE. And then fucking AEW for many years after that. So it's like, I just think it's something that just didn't get appreciated in the way that I think looking back, watching them, you'd be like, okay, yeah, this was actually the shit. And they were willing to do different stuff, like the X Factor stuff where they hung it from the fucking. Oh, we need to see Gilbert. Oh my god, yeah, fuck. They should have brought him back to fight. They should have had him to fight Gunther. He's upset it's not his fault. Intellectual toddlers often have tantrums. Sandor, brother, hey, some people can't compete with your intellectual giantism. And then Coach Hill says we need that Gilbert 100%. That needs to go down. And Sting on TNA, yeah. I mean, like I said, I remember thinking there were some moments where it was cool, but generally, whenever I was watching TNA, it was like I wish I was watching WWE back in the day. So now watching it back with like more reverence for what they were doing and more of an appreciation for like, the smaller wrestling promotion, trying to put like butts in the seat. You can appreciate that on a different level, I think. Also, once you kind of give up the magic of the industry, if you will. Like around that time, I might have still been locked in on. I was arguing for a long time that Randy Orton's matches were real. Trust me on that. A sad long time. Not that they were like totally real, but like I remember there was like a book that I read about wrestling back in the day, and I took like this little part of it where Randy Orton was talking about basically that they call the matches at the time, like when they're in the ring, they'll call the matches. And I remember arguing with people at fucking school being like, no, Randy Orton's matches are real. He said they don't know what's going to happen when he gets in the ring. He gets in the ring and it happens like however it happens. Just fucking totally marked out, boy. But that's why, hey, we got to get to the We got to get to one of these live shows. That was a great era. Absolutely great era. And like I said, underappreciated. That's the main thing. It's like, it was such a classic fucking era. But when I was watching it, at least I just wasn't, I didn't treat it with that reverence. That was a fail on my part. No, I know I'm stupid. That's the difference. We're all stupid at the end of the day, brother. There's so much to know. The fact that we wake up every day and we learn some new shit. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, you wake up every day and you learn some new shit. I think isn't that the saying, I'm the smartest man in the world because I know that I know nothing at all or some shit. But no, Sandor, so I'm with you. I think we all know that. We could all be humble. I appreciate you boys again, man. This was fun. I could keep going, to be honest. I could talk about wrestling for 8 hours straight. It just is what it is. I fucked up. I should have signed up for wrestling school back in the day. I'm looking at myself now like, God damn it, you really let it go. Just playing. No, I couldn't do that. What the fuck? Not be able to fucking walk and have crippling alcoholism? No, sirree. I'll watch it and I'll enjoy those gladiators. GG lads. Yes, sir, Sandor. You're the man. Every time. I appreciate you, man. 100%. Next time, I'll even save the WWE talk for a little bit later just so you could be involved in it because I would have liked to have got your opinion on it. I don't even remember totally what we talked about earlier, Yo Chill, but Sandor is also a wrestling fan. I know you guys aren't best of friends right now, but maybe one day you will be because Sandor is nuts deep in the lore. Maybe we'll catch Sandor on one of those TNA ECW streams. I don't even know if I have the stomach for fucking ECW, to be honest. Let's see here. Yeah, keep an eye out for us tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this in the future, make sure you subscribe to this thing. Support the channel. Share it with somebody. Share it with the worst fucking person you know. If you hated it, still share it. Send it to somebody you fucking hate. Just have them fucking watch this and think that you're getting over them because they're wasting their time, but at the end of the day, they're not. Because this is some transformative conversations that we're having. We're having a good time. We're getting to know people. We're having fucking spats in the comments, but at the end of the day, it's actually all love. Everybody's still gonna get up tomorrow and have to go to their fucking slave job and just hate themselves. But I'll be there with you. I'll be there in the struggle with the rest of the peons. Without any healthcare, fucking hoping that my fucking heart doesn't stop while I'm on the line. But keep an eye out for me this weekend. I'm always trying to fit one of those in. If I can find some time to say, hey, family, I know I spent fucking 16 hours on the stream during the week. Can I go ahead and slide in one more on this beautiful Saturday that we're all supposed to be spending time together? So keep an eye out. Put those notifications on. It could happen at any time. Tonight it happened on the late. Tonight is like midnight and I end up going live. So definitely put the notifications on so you don't miss it. Plus, that's your way of fighting against the small hats. If you want to take some power back. Now, don't underestimate their power because you could even put on the notifications and then they turn that shit right back off. So if you think you have your notifications on, check because the small hats might have turned on their Pegasus program and flipped your shit. Hey, but at least the military is keeping you safe while you're at work. Well, that is good. That is good. And good thing that they're stealing those resources from those fucking third world countries, third world shitholes. That's like Trump likes to say. What the fuck are they doing with it anyways? They don't have running water. Fun fact real quick. Please go ahead and give us the one fun fact real quick for us, brother. I'll literally wait for it with bated breath right now. I say fun fact. Sandor, go fuck yourself. I'm out. Damn. Now the pressure's on you, Chill. I'm sitting here waiting on this fact. I know you had it locked and loaded, brother. Guys, again, subscribe, show some love. Go check out my motherfucking man, Yo Chill here too, man. He's a good guy. Sandor. Show some love to them in the comments in the future. Say, wow, they really added something to this. Sean the Bond wanted to say thank you for popping in here for a minute with me. Who else do we have in here tonight? I like to show some love. Sonic 7 rocked with us for a minute. I fuck with you, brother. Thank you. You did throw some fucking Russian shit in my chat, but that's fine. And he did say that he is not with the gay shit. But hey, at the end of the day, to each his own. He said, trans in the military. What the fuck? Can't no trans motherfucker goddamn protect me. Says, sir, you're being protected by trans right now in the Middle East. I'll be honest. Andretti popped in here. Shout out to you, my brother. You didn't hop in, but that's okay. That's okay. No pressure. And then Fizzy Bubble hopped in on the very first fucking comment. They didn't comment anything else. That's a little fucked up, but that's okay. He said, never get notifications for your pod. I did tonight. Keep up the grind. Where the fuck were you after that, though? But it's all good. I'm glad you got the notification. And shout out to you for being the first motherfucker to comment. Maybe I got on a little late. Okay, right here. My bad. All right. The whale, being the largest mammal on Earth, has a birthing canal. Oh, shit. The size of a minivan. The interesting part is this is the second biggest pussy in the world next to Sandor. Nice. And then we sit here. He said, fuck you, Sandor, I'm out. He did do it kind of as easy as your mother. Wow. Beautiful. Nice and evil. Yo, Chill, shout out to you, man. That's a nice little insult to send us on our way out. Hopefully, Sandor, hope you enjoy the rest of your day with that. And Sandor wanted to say, as easy as your mother. So you guys got to insult each other one last time. It's beautiful. Bringing people together across the world to tell each other go fuck off, and call each other pussies. That's great. Hey, the WWE and TNA, they should be proud. We're out of here. Sit in politics. Subscribe. That's my daughter, guys. Fuck. Subscribe. Matter of fact, send me some donations or some shit. True bromance. One for the history books.